Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Gong Show. Mr. Black, I bet we have a group chat there now. We have a group. I set up a group chat for us so we can, because I know you guys can't hear the audio anymore. For the music thing. I was just asking if you unplugged your FX board since you rode all day.
Have I?
Yeah, your
your
T-Pain. Okay.
I'm good to go, Adam. I'm good.
All right. Okay. All right. I have no energy. I'm gonna have to find some miraculous uplift.
You have no energy.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, it is Friday, May 26th, 2017, and despite basically every forest fire convening into our general location, we have managed to get this going an hour behind schedule, but we're here.
Smokey the Bear gave no fucks today.
They know everything gave no fucks today. It just all went sideways at the same time. But we're here, and we've managed to put it all together, and we've got some good stuff to talk about today. Before I do, Mr. Black, hit me up with the sound of going for retro video game hunts and coming across what, for all intents and purposes, could be described as accidentally finding the Mona Lisa at your local garage sale.
Holy
Yeah, it was pretty good. You had a serious freaking haul in the last two Saturdays now, or no, it wasn't even Saturdays. You were going out on other days or something, weren't you?
Yeah, I got two big retro collections on not yesterday but the day before. So I collect retro. People know that now. Which I would like to start talking about on the podcast.
By the tweets, actually. Like, did you get two separate big hauls, or did you get like one massive?
Yeah.
I saw you were super excited.
Yeah, I got two. So the first one, there was a guy who posted up some regular Nintendo games, and there is two of them that I didn't own for the collection. I'm trying to get a full collection of NES. So whenever I see games that are reasonably priced that I don't have for my collection, I always make an offer. So I made an offer of $50, and I think it was 8 games. Two of them, one of them was like a $60 game, and the other one was like a $30 game. So, and the other games in the lot were like Mario 3, Mario 2, and those are like easy sellers.
Easy to sell, yeah.
Oh yeah, they sell for $20, $25 each. So I'd be able to recoup my $50 back right away. So I offered him 50. I went down there. He had the games, which was great, and then I noticed in the back seat he had some bags of other games, and I said, "Hey, you've got the other stuff?" He's like, "Yeah, I didn't know if you're into Sega or not." I was like, "Yeah, I'll take a look." So I took a look. There was a bunch of Sega stuff there. There was a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game that's worth like $60. There's Shinobi.
Was it like one of the Turtles in Time or something like that?
It wasn't Turtles in Time. It was Manhattan Project or something like that. Turtles Manhattan. It's like another
arcade
one.
Yeah.
Was that another arcade transfer?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it's really rare in terms of rarity. Out of a 12 scale, it's like 11 out of 12. So I picked that up. That was loose, and then it had like Shinobi and a few other really crazy games. So I said, "What would you do for all of it?" And he was like, I don't know. And I said, "How about $80?" And he said, "Sure." So I got it all for 80. And then I said, "Hey, do you have any other games by any chance for any other system?" And he said, "Well, I actually have an entire collection at home." And I was like, "Well, are you going to sell any of it?" He said, "Yeah, I'm willing to sell all of it." And I was like, "Okay, can you send me pictures?" So he went home and he sent me pictures, and I immediately went up to his place. Or actually, he met me in a parking lot, like a drug deal, and he ended up bringing 4 massive tubs of video games, and that was the first big thing. There was Sega Dreamcast, which I didn't have, Sega Saturn.
You didn't have a Dreamcast?
Yeah, I didn't have a Dreamcast, and the Dreamcast is modded. It had a bunch of like Japanese games, some regular games. A couple of the Dreamcast games alone were like $60-$70 a pop. Some Saturn games. There was a Power Glove for the Nintendo. Like 3 PS2s, about 150 PS2 games. like 40 PS1 games. Also got a what else did I get? A regular Nintendo console, a Super Nintendo, Famicom, 2 different Retrons. I've got about 30 different controllers, so we're never gonna have to worry about controllers for the retro versus. I've got literally, if you look behind me, you can still see a pile of stuff on the ground there.
Still sorting through it.
Yeah, still sorting through it. So anyway, I got everything for $1,000, $1,050, which was this absolute steal. And I come home, I go through everything, $3,000 worth of stuff. And then at 8:00 at night, I'm going up to get a Super Nintendo from some chick for $70 with 3 fire games. The bundle was worth about $140, so I got it for $70. And while I was out there, another lot came up for $1,500, and this was like the holy grail because the majority of it was PS1 fire titles, like $200 titles, the best of the best. And
all
then
the black label stuff,
super rare ones,
and
right?
Then, all the JRPGs, everything. And then the Super Nintendo, there was like all the boxed Final Fantasy Super Nintendo games, Earthbound, just absolute Turtles in Time, like you name it, it's there. And I said, I'll give you $1,300 for it, and I'll come up now. Unfortunately, it was an hour-and-a-half drive. It was in Kingston, Nova Scotia. It was like I've never even been there before.
Oh my god!
And so I drove all the way the hell out there. I get it at his house at 10 o'clock at night. I get the stuff for $1,300. I drive all the way home. I get home at midnight. I live stream us going through it all, and there was I think there was $2,600 or $2,700 worth of stuff. And today, I know I've been talking a lot, but today,
go for it.
Yeah, today I went out, I woke up, and I bundled everything last night, the majority of it. I put it up on the internet, and I sold $1,375 worth of stuff today. I've been out for 8 hours selling stuff, so I invested $2,600. I already recouped more than half of my money, and I only sold my doubles. And I still have 2 more Super Nintendo bundles to sell, a Sega Genesis, a bunch of weird Sega shit, dude. I've got I got this weird, I gotta show you this.
Was it Mega Drive or a different Sega system?
Was it the 32X that you got or whatever?
Well, I also got a 32X, but I'm keeping that. That's complete in
Holy
box
crap.
in my
that one's hard to get.
Oh yeah,
that was not around for very long.
Look at that. That's for those that
Holy
are
crap.
watching on
In-box.
YouTube. In box
with label.
Yeah, and the,
NBA Jam
Space
Tournament
Jam.
Edition.
Or NBA Jam, yeah. NBA
man.
Jam. He's on fire.
Tournament Edition, the only
guys,
version that matters.
So I got this.
When we're up there, or when I'm up there, we need to do We need to do NBA Jam. That has to be a thing.
So this thing right here, I didn't even know this existed. For those that are just listening via iTunes, it's like this hexagon that you clip together for the Sega, and then you stand in the middle of it. So this was like back in the day.
I remember this thing.
And you You like kick and punch and
I've
shit.
never seen this.
Yeah, it has sensors. It has sensors on the bottom of it, and then it reads whenever something passes over top of the sensor or in the
it
icon.
shoots it does like the IR light, and then you break the light beam.
Yeah, you break the light on it, and it registers as a thing. I remember that because there's one dude I went to school with that had one.
So I got that, and I also got this. I don't know if you've ever seen this or not, but this right here is the interactor. It's like a book bag you put on, and it like vibrates.
The vibrate
and shit.
thing. It like hits you with force feedback.
So that was in there too. So it's
that was after the Sega.
Yeah, the Sega.
Dude,
and,
Sega had some.
They did a lot of weird
random,
shit. They did some Nintendo level shit.
Yeah, some peripheral stuff.
And then,
for sure.
And then inside here, I also got a TurboGrafx. I got a TurboGrafx.
Like you got the better deal.
And Japanese TurboGrafx and a shit ton of games. Just the TurboGrafx stuff is $600 worth of stuff right there. So I'm still gonna be able to sell. I get to add about 200 games to my collection, and it is insane games. Like we're talking really expensive, hard to find, sought after games, and I'll make all my money back just from those. If you guys want to see more, on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/MaximusBlack, I have all of the pickups and I go through every game. And I also vlogged everything that I did today, meeting up with people, collecting money, and I go over how to find games and all that stuff. And then tomorrow there's like 100 yard sales here. There's 2 massive community sales.
Supposed to be really nice
So
weather this
I'm going to
weekend.
be hitting that shit up tomorrow. And hopefully I'm going to be taking my spy glasses. They're on the charger right now, and hopefully we're going to score big. So that was my last couple of days. Yeah, so there it is.
Amazing. That's quite the haul.
Yes.
I mean,
I've got quite the haul myself, Adam.
Actually,
We have quite the haul.
Oh, we do. We got our stuff in. Our pins and stickers are in today or yesterday, technically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have anything that you can?
I have everything directly in front of me. So we're ready to go. So we'll start off with with some of the fun stuff. So we've got the technical alpha logo. Again, these are all available on Patreon. I'm going to be taking pictures of all the different bundles, so they'll be up on the Patreon page soon.
Yeah, we'll have that.
But, yeah, so for those of you on iTunes, you can check it out on YouTube when we have the videos up. But we have the technical alpha logo stickers here. These are
pretty fucking
these
awesome.
Came out pretty
actually.
well. Yeah, these are all vinyl stickers, so they're very durable, and they'll stick out pretty well. Then we've got my beautiful face on some stickers. Very beautiful. Me with glasses, Top Gun style, and normal.
Amazing.
And then we've got the wonderful and ever so photogenic NovaWar and
Bob Ross.
This is actual Adam, and then this is some fake ass shit.
Yeah, that's I'm midnight without the afro. That's what I do.
Yeah. And then we've got our wonderful Jeffrey.
Jeffrey. I don't hear that too often. Jeffrey.
Here's that.
With the proper Goku hairstyle.
Yeah.
Yes.
Not as
Those
Vegeta
are awesome.
hairstyle, it's Goku hairstyle. And then we've got our ever so amazingly large
those are
sellout
cool.
sticker.
Yeah. The trio.
So who gets
a whopping
those?
5 inches by 2 inches. This is, I believe, for the 250 or higher.
I
maybe
honestly
500 or
can't
higher.
remember. I
Yeah,
did
I
those
can't
so
remember
long
either.
ago now that I can't remember anymore.
Now, boys, the holy grails. I have not taken any of these out of the wrapping yet, but the beautiful technical
those-
alpha logo pin.
Those are dope.
Doesn't really focus because you think you have your shit set to manual distance,
Yeah.
but that looks awesome. The
So,
black
it's
underneath.
got the metal in it. Yeah, and everything just came
reflects.
out really well. Yeah, I've used these guys before for pins, and they do a phenomenal job.
That's
so this
awesome.
is the logo pin that you guys get. Definitely worthwhile. And then the more
the even
vanity-wise.
fancier one, the trio head collection.
This
Yes.
looks a little weird on the camera, but it actually looks amazing in person. This is actually black metal nickel for the black lining, and then it's got the accent colors all around it. So in person, this looks like straight fire. So anyone who's getting this pin, you guys are gonna really enjoy it. I'll have some really nice pictures of them up over the weekend.
The pictures will you'll be able to see a lot easier. So especially those of you on iTunes, you'll be able to go to the Patreon page and see pictures of all these things. When we get those set up, we'll update the Patreon with that. But those all look friggin' awesome. And I actually
Pretty pumped with how they
sourced
came
out.
out.
I sourced out a place to get the posters done, and so we're gonna have those as well. So things are going to within the next month. Things will start to
Ship
or so.
out.
Things will start to ship out, and then after that, it will be a much smoother process because we'll actually have everything on hand.
Yeah, that's the thing.
and
Like
ready to
we had to order all the stuff, and then we had to figure out. We had to wait like a month to see how many people were actually going to be supporting us via Patreon to know how much we were going to order, and then we decided to order even more just so that we have some stock. And then, like we said before, if you guys are $5, $10 tier, even the $1 tier or $25 tier, and you accumulate enough support. So say if you're a $10 tier and you've been doing it for a year, that's $120 that you've given to us for the content. So we're going to send you out something special for that, which means you may get one of the $100 pins or, a t-shirt or something
Or
like
a
that.
poster or something.
A poster. We'll figure it out. I mean,
Look at
you
them all.
can see that. we've got a lot of pins. I think we've spent like close to $4,000 on just about everything.
After the posters, it's gonna be around that anyway.
Yeah. So, we haven't cheaped out on it, and we want you guys to get some cool stuff. And I noticed, there have been people that have done like higher tier stuff and then have kind of bumped down or whatever. You guys don't have to worry. It doesn't matter how long you were at certain tiers. As long as you had supported at some point, your stuff will still get shipped out to you. So, yeah. And you also have time, guys. So if you're thinking, man, I just wish, I got something for supporting these guys. Well, now you can get in on that first shipment. You can make Panic work that much harder by shipping out more stuff.
I still have to go buy all the mailing materials, so this will be a fun time. I'll get everything sorted, then I'll have to do all my inventory stuff. So we'll get it out within the next month or so, hopefully. And then you guys will start getting some merch.
And Panic is also going to be flying down here to Halifax. We announced that last week, but those that didn't hear, he's going to come here. We're going to do a live podcast. He's going to give us a bunch of stuff to have as well. And we're also going to do like a retro versus while he's here, so that all three of us are doing it with him as well. But that won't be until next month, which is coming soon, really. We're almost
it's going to be towards the end of the month.
Which week were we shooting for again? That was towards like the 16th.
I'm locking it now towards the 29th into the July 4th weekend. It's just a lot easier with my work schedule, and I can, we'll be able to not be jumping on, any of Jeff's business going on and anything that I have going on.
Cool. Yeah.
Great. Well, there you have it.
Time.
Now it's gonna get real. We're all gonna be in the same room, and it's gonna be kind of epic. So you can look forward to that.
Battle Royale.
Maybe we'll all play the Parappa the Rapper game that requires that octagon. I think that's what that actually is used for. We just need to find the game. But yeah, anyway, ladies and gentlemen, lots of goings on there. For those wondering, I didn't collect anything this week except taxes. So that was all I got in, and nothing else exciting. Let's move on to our first topic, gentlemen, shall we? Let's actually talk about some of the things we've got to talk about. The first thing that we're going to tackle is a rebranding in the space that we spend some time in, for sure. So there's been some happenings in the streaming community here over the last, let's say, 2 months. Not that long ago, I don't know if we ever talked about it on the podcast, but Azubu, for example, bought out Hitbox a while ago, and then they just finally came out with Smashcast, which is the name of their deal now that they've combined. And at the same time, Microsoft, not all that long ago, I think it was last year, bought Beam.Pro from some 18-year-old kid for an undisclosed amount of money. We can safely assume that 18-year-old kid has probably retired. Although I think he's still at the head of the company, so he's working, but technically he doesn't really have to do any work anymore. So they've turned that just now. This is what we're going to talk about for a moment. Beam.Pro. When I heard that, I was like, you know what? That's a pretty good live streaming website name. It's beamed right to you. They were marketing the fact that they had low latency, and their tech was pretty good, like really good tech. And then on top of that,
I watched some streams on there, and the latency was really good. The stream quality was pretty good. The chat features were actually pretty fun too. It wasn't anything like mind-blowingly revolutionary. It was just executed pretty well. So I was pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, and when Microsoft picked them up, it was the idea that they were going to. It's Mixer.com now, Jeff. By the way, the one that it's changed over to. So they built. The reason why Microsoft bought these guys is that they had a huge, I don't know if a huge idea, but they had the neat idea of the people watching, the viewer being able to interact more directly with the streamer in the game. And so I don't know if, Jeff, you can see on the homepage, there might be somebody streaming with a bunch of the boxes and stuff underneath of it where you can, with, whatever chat currency type deal or whatever, depending on how you have it set up, you can actually interact with the game. And Microsoft wanted to buy these guys for that functionality and the tech that they were running to integrate this stuff for their products and games, and I would assume also the streaming capabilities on the Xbox, for example. Coincidentally,
so
a lot
actually,
of yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say Twitch actually just announced like a bunch of new API features. I was just like,
Yes.
oh, that's oddly coincidental because all of a sudden they like
Coincidental.
a bunch of like alpha features like for Hearthstone and a couple other games to be like, oh no, you can directly interact with the player now, so you can have like overlays outside of OBS for things. And I'm just like, oh, I wonder where you got that idea from.
So that was pretty quick. So Twitch turned that around pretty quick, and now Twitch is integrating a bunch of stuff. I got an email with a long list of beta-related activities that Twitch is putting out for a whole host of games and different interactivity levels depending on the game that's for it. And so, Jeff, I don't know if did you get that email? Did you see the email sent out to you, or did you see Twitch talk about it?
I did see a Twitch email, but I didn't read it, man. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah. So that's all it was about. It was basically like, hey, here's a list of beta features that we're testing out. The people that are currently in the beta, usually, it's the bigger guys in the individual communities. So if it's a Hearthstone player, they get the Hearthstone features, so on and so forth. And it's basically what Beam was doing, like almost identically.
The thing that actually caught my interest, I was the one who added this to the topic list because I was reading through it. But they're doing a lot of other things with Mixer. I'm not sold on the Mixer name, but that's a completely other thing.
Nobody's sold on the Mixer name.
Doing a lot. Yeah, I actually like Beam better than Mixer, but they're adding it to Xbox One. They're kind of turning it into the Xbox streaming platform. So I think they might be able to do some cool things with that. But kind of beyond that, one of the big things they're doing is not relevant for a lot of other people, but for someone like me, it's actually really cool. They're launching a Manhattan studio space, like
I
a
saw that,
professional studio space.
Yes.
So the thing is, like, people might think why that's why that would be relevant or not interesting. YouTube actually does the same thing in Chelsea and Manhattan, where they have like a space with a bunch of different studios and a bunch of different areas, but also they have tons of professional grade equipment. Like, I'm talking like high-end Sony cameras for recording, like cinema level. They have Zoom H4Ns, full-on mixer boards that make our stuff look like kids' toys. And you can go there and you can rent out these studios, and for YouTube space at least, it's free. Like, you just have to book time and you go. Like, I've actually worked we've actually produced game shows at YouTube space for some of the other stuff I've worked on. But empowering content creators and like giving people access to that to come up with some really high-end content, if they can leverage that studio space properly, or even spin off other locations, we might see some really interesting content. Like, Twitch is also kind of trying to do that now with their Twitch Studios thing, but they're only really doing that in their like home base. Like, Microsoft straight up like, we're going to Manhattan. That's like a huge area for this kind of thing. So it's interesting because I feel like the content wars are going to kind of heat up, and we're going to see a lot more increase in production quality and value. So I'm wondering what you guys as content creators think about that.
Mr. Black?
Well, I think I don't really, well, I shouldn't say I don't think it matters, because obviously when these other companies, these streaming companies and startups, or when people get bought out and they do special things and new things, they innovate. Twitch, obviously takes it, and they have the money to do it and do it better. So it improves Twitch. It keeps Twitch on their toes. I mean, competition's always a good thing. But I think, for one, Azubu's just garbage anyway. I mean, Azubu's always been
Smash
sketchy.
ain't going anywhere.
That is, Hitbox is dead in my opinion.
Well, they're not even in this conversation because they don't have any of this tech. They're running. They're still pushing the whole. We can do 4K 60 FPS, which is like, congratulations.
I don't know
at what bit rate.
Well, that's the joke. I could talk about that, but they don't do anything.
Yeah, like I have no idea how Azubu even gets the money that they get. Like, they just seem sketchy. Like, all their services.
They have investors.
They have some contracts.
I think a couple of them are. Yeah, and they're, again, I personally feel, I'm in your camp. It's pretty sketchy.
Yeah. I think there's just a bunch of money laundering going on. To be honest with you, I have no idea. It just seems like really. I think. I'm not making any accusations, but I'm just it just feels sketchy. And
It's
there was
weird because the money
there
never
was
comes in.
no,
It
it's like,
goes
how are
out.
they getting this money? So they must have just had a bunch of angel investors that are like, hey, we've got more money than what we know what to do with. Here's a shit ton of money. Go have fun. It's either that or there's some sketchy things going on in the background. And I've been hearing sketchy things for years about Azubu and how they do business. So, it is what it is. But in terms of the Microsoft thing, it looks cool. I mean, while you
As
guys
long
were
as they don't
talking,
screw it up.
yeah, it wasn't that I wasn't interested. I was listening, but I was just kind of checking out this site because I had never seen it before. It already infinitely looks. I mean, it's simple, but I
It's
like.
clean.
Yeah. I like that when you hover over somebody's channel, it just instantly starts playing, and there's lots to choose from. And it's not just convoluted like the Twitch
What
page
Twitch needs
is.
to do is just go to the UX person for Beam, Mix, or whatever you want to call it, and just be like, "Hey, here's a bunch of money. Just come work for us, because we have no idea what we're doing."
Oh, that's just not going to happen.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
That's just
actually
not gonna-
so
So
like
much noise. So much noise.
I think the studio space thing is kind of a neat idea because I think
Yep.
because where Twitch is going to go with it as well, and where Microsoft will go with it, is that it's going to open up a possibility for people to do high production weekly like shows, for example, that are just like a
Like
one-off
I'd like to
live
see
show
talk
thing.
shows and
Exactly.
like game show type things that you can do live streaming without having to like
Absolutely.
again, like a lot of people like us can't go out and buy like 5 Sony cameras with full mixer boards and wireless lav mics, unless you're a freak like me. But it's just like, and
But
again, being
that's
able to use that equipment is really nice. Like, and they have people there who can help out. So like when we were doing a lot of the stuff,
Right.
they're like, "Oh yeah, this is how you settle."
I'm
like,
gonna be
"All right,
honest.
sweet." We learned a lot.
I'm gonna be that guy because I'm always that guy. I think the studio things. It's whatever. Sure, it's cool that it exists, but let's be
It's
real.
not like we're gonna be widespread.
Any of the in-house shit that goes down is just going to be big fucking circle jerks, right? It's going to be the same people reaping all the benefits. Twitch is going to be like, hey, who's in the in this company right now? Who are the streamers that live in California and are always around and know the higher
That's
ups?
why I wasn't as keen on
Here's a
Twitch
bunch
Studio.
of money. Here's a bunch of money. Make a show that we're gonna push, and it'll do well no matter what. That's just how these things work. There's
Well, that's the
very
thing.
rarely, hey. There's very rarely any share in terms of new people that come in and can contribute to these things. So unless they change the way they do business, because a lot of it is in house and it's the same. Like what's that word, like the old boys club or whatever the hell kind of saying there is, that exists, and it exists on
Of course it
YouTube,
does.
it exists on Twitch, and whenever these new things happen, it's always the same faces. I'm not going to name any names, but you guys can easily pick out the people that are there, and I can guarantee that it'll be no different. If anything like that happens, it's going to be the same people we're going to see. And although those people that we see, they're great entertainers, and I do enjoy watching a lot of the stuff. It's just the variety. It's like watching the same personalities, but in a different format. And it's like, meh.
I think it depends on the company. Like Twitch, I fully agree that that's probably going to be the case. But I've had experience with the YouTube space. We've used them multiple times. We literally just call them up and say, "Hey, what days do you have open?" They give us a list, and we say, "Hey, we want these slots," and we just go in. Like we've taken up some of their entire studios for like an entire day, like 8-9 hours. We've been there for full days, and it's usually not an issue. Like there's never like, "Oh yeah, no, we're super overbooked" or whatever. So if Microsoft goes with that kind of approach, where it's like anyone, you just have to call them up and you can just schedule and go, that's awesome. Twitch, I feel like, yeah, it's just going to be like, oh no, we want to push very specific shows or very specific people to be able to use the space. That's a completely different story. It all depends on how open they are. Like YouTube space is just like, you want to book it, just call in. It's kind of first come, first serve. We have a bunch of studio spaces, just go for it. So if it's open and you want it, you got it.
Yeah, I like that it exists, and I just like what it does for what kind of content can be created in the space, and anything that's new and higher end than just putting on a C920 webcam and playing Battlegrounds for 12 hours straight, I'm okay with in my books. I'm gonna spin this into something else, because we talked a little bit about it. For example, Panic was, and Jeff here were talking about with Twitch the website right now. In terms of how, usability,
Adam, bro,
everything.
if you're gonna go on an hour rant about how fucked Twitch is right now, I'm gonna
do
go
that for
upstairs and
another
turn down
show.
my heat. I'm gonna go take a shower.
No. Well,
all right.
No. I'm just saying. Jesus.
Because I've heard it so many times, and I know I got to stop you before you go, because once you go, it's all ogre.
Oh,
there's a high salt level today, Adam.
Sure, whatever. But all I wanted to say is that I hope Twitch does pay attention, even though there's not really competition for Twitch right now, even though it technically exists. Is I hope they pay attention as far as website usability, because Twitch, honest to God, is the possibly worst. Next, I mean,
worse.
Reddit is a more user-friendly, and Reddit is one of the just biggest gong shows on the planet, and Twitch is right now, it's Las Vegas. There is a notification fucking coming at me at every square pixel on the screen. Shit doesn't line up. You don't know what anything does.
They're all over the place. Left, right, top, bottom, middle. It's like, hey, click here for this, click here for that, click here for this bullshit.
Yeah.
Hey,
it feels like
you haven't watched in months. Just made a clip.
It feels like I'm on some like GeoCities website that was like back in like the day that somebody put together, and you get in there and it was before ad block, and it's just like you're like shit's just fucking coming up at you all over the place, and all of a sudden your screen's full of crap. It's just nuts.
It's like I was watching a car video on a Lamborghini, and the guy was sitting in the car. And it's an absolute gorgeous vehicle. All right. You're seeing it. You're like, oh my God. And the guy's sitting in there and he's looking around and he's like, where in the fuck do I turn on the lights? I just want to turn on the lights. There's buttons everywhere. There's controls and shit all over the place. That is Twitch. God. Twitch needs to just calm the fuck down. Like they are trying to do way too much too quickly, and they think more is more, but less is more. People just want to go on the site. They want to just watch a streamer. They want to be able to see who they're following, click on a stream, and go there. We don't need pop-ups. We don't need pop-ups on pop-ups. We don't need drop-downs where there's pop-ups on pop-ups. And we most certainly don't need a stream to cut out every 2 hours or every hour and a half, and then you're forced to refresh the page so that the shit can work. And there's a reason why Twitch is breaking. It's because they're doing way too much too quickly, and you've got these other sites now that have some really cool ideas, and it's simple, and they go, oh, we got to add that. We got to add that.
You want to know what I want them to do, even at a very base level? Just give me the ability to turn off anything on the UI that I want to. I don't want to see those pop-ups. Just let me turn it off. And from the streamer perspective, like I'm looking at the podcast right now. We've got like videos, clips, collections, events, like followers and
all
following.
text.
That,
like there's no icons, just everything's text.
Let me turn that shit off. Like our technical alpha, are we ever going to use the events tab? Probably not.
No.
We're probably going to use collection of clips. Let's just let us control what we show to our viewers. Like we don't want to see that crap. It's a lot of noise. Our viewers, literally, listeners, I'm pretty sure you guys just want to hear us talking. Like that's what you guys want. You don't want to see all this other like fluff. So
it's just so funny to me. It just keeps adding more. So when I got that email, that's why I want to say this. When I got that email, right, and it shows this big list of stuff, and it all includes, now it's overlays over top of the video thing that's not even the streamer's overlays. So it's an overlay on top of the video with the streamer's overlays and all of this
in
other
the player
shit.
window. It's like a player control.
In the player window. And I'm just the first thing I saw people tweeting was like, can I just turn this off? People are like, please tell me that I can turn this shit off because there's just so much.
Just stop. Like,
just like have everything have an off switch.
But it's okay, guys. You know why? Because now we get the Kappa pet. Do you know, Jeff, you heard about the Kappa pet?
I actually don't even know what that is.
Oh, yeah. It was the stupidest shit ever. It's Tamagotchi for streaming.
Panic. It's Tamagotchi for fucking Kappa.
So what happens is, Jeff, when you're streaming, the Kappa pet will not be a part of your stream. It'll be an overlay on the player, and it will be doing stuff, and the viewers can interact with it while you're streaming. But guess what, bro? When you go offline, the Kappa pet goes to sleep.
That's the gayest thing I've heard.
That is amazing volume. That's
It's
amazing
literally
value add
the
for you and your
gayest thing
viewers.
I
It's the
have
stupidest
seen
thing
and
ever.
heard in my entire life, and I've seen some really flamboyant things.
I
That
actually
shit is
hate
next
that
level.
more. I hate that more than the stupid point spots, like for being in chat where you can buy shit with the points and like it just spams things. I'm like, Twitch came up with something that is worse.
Oh, it's so
'Cause
good.
now
I love
can't
it.
get rid of it. It's on the overlay. It's just there.
Next, another
How
podcast.
is that relevant to your gameplay?
Another podcast. We can talk more about the Twitch thing because it finally, stuff's gone
We
bad.
love
And
you,
we're wrapping
Twitch,
this up
but
and move on to the
really.
next topic. We love you, but fuck me. It's getting real. Lyric had like some low ball shade, just backdoor fucking comment like that he put out on a tweet. Where even Lyric's like, guys, we've gone too far.
Yeah.
We need to.
It's like, what the fuck?
We need back
when
that
your
up.
number when
Press
your
the
number
re-
one streamer on the site is telling you, bro, I'm loving the millions of dollars I'm making via this site right now.
But can we
you know what?
just-
It's not even worth. It's not even worth. I love Twitch. It's growing pains, but at some point the growing's got to stop, and we just gotta like. We just got to enjoy
we don't need
what we
Twitch
have.
to have gigantism. We don't need them to
Yeah.
die at like 43
Well,
because
you want to know it kind of feels like it's
Give
becoming
us
Facebook,
quality
right? You know how
streaming.
Facebook
Give us
it just
quality
went to shit.
streams.
It just it's like it's pretty soon like you're not even going to be able to find the streamer that you want to find. They're just going to auto funnel you to Lyric or Summit. Like that'll be the show. Like, that'll be it. It'll be twitch.tv/Summit1G Lyric show.
You're gonna type,
and you won't be able to
gonna
watch
type
anybody
in,
else.
You're like www.twitch.tv/technical alpha, and it'll come up. Did you mean Lyric?
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
That was a feature.
I mean, to be fair, I mean, if there's like one streamer that you have to watch, I guess Summit would be a damn good one to do it. But I mean,
But it's so
shit,
funny.
it's gonna turn into a Facebook, man. Like,
How long do you think Twitch adds co-streaming?
Oh,
Like they did for Mixer. How long do you think how long till you think they put that shit in?
What is this?
Before
Right
the
now
end
we
of
use
the year.
multi-Twitch. So
Before the end of the
Mixer's
year.
big feature was actually called co-streaming. So what happens is if you and Adam were doing your Saints Row playthrough, right? You
Yeah.
both of you could say we're co-streaming, and when you're on either of the streams, it will automatically put both of your streams up and like fit them in to the stream space so that someone can see both points of view, and it will mix the audio properly for you.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
So that's why they called it Mixer, because you can it makes it a lot more interactive. You can actually work with other streamers without having to do this like multi-Twitch and having other people go crazy with stuff.
Now that is an idea I can fuck with. The Tamagotchi
Because
or
if
whatever
you
the hell
think
they're
about
called, pets. No, but give me that. That's
Think about that. For technical alpha, if we did shit like that on there, we could just be like, I stream, you stream, Adam streams, all three cams up, done.
Yeah, let's just make it 3 points of failure instead of one. What could
Yeah.
possibly go wrong?
We all
But I do like that. I think that's good for like duo streams,
Oh, it's
especially
really
if you're
good.
playing team
Yeah.
games and shit. Like if you're playing League
it's
or
epic.
HOTS or Minecraft
And
or
right
anything.
now, there's like multi-Twitch, but why not just make that, part of the website's functionality? Now, the problem is Twitch's player is already pretty busted, so I'm scared if they actually try to implement something like that, just how
Can't
bad
even
it'll
service
be.
one stream at the same time properly.
Let's fix what they got going bad now,
Yeah,
and then
let's
let's
do that.
work on other things, like those actual big things that could be useful.
Yes.
Then we work on that. But anyway, I
Yes.
digress. I mean, we love Twitch,
Yes.
but it's fun. It's easy to. It's just too easy to poke fun at Twitch because they're just doing some shit like the Kappa pet. I mean, come on, just come on. Whose idea
Jokes
was
write
that,
themselves.
man? Whose
Who is
idea
this?
was
Somebody-
that? You know what? Twitch fucking
I
pay me
want to know who
$100,000
came up with
a
that
year
and fire them.
and give me a desk job there,
Yeah.
and I'll come up with some ideas. And I promise you, they're not going to be those pets on the screen that you can pet and purr and
No.
watch when your streamer's not there. I
No.
guarantee I'll come up with something.
Oh no,
better.
it sleeps when you're not there. It sleeps when you're not
Oh,
there.
oh,
It
great.
does nothing.
Well,
All right, let's move on.
Anyway,
Okay, so that beam to Mixer turned into beam to Mixer to Twitch. Get your shit together, which is perfectly fine in my books. We're gonna move on to the next topic, which was this Red Dead Redemption 2. So that was originally announced to be releasing this year. So they said Red Dead Redemption 2. They had that they had a trailer or something for
Yeah,
it.
in like 3
There's
months.
Yeah, it was like a teaser, and they were like, "Hey, this is coming out this year," and everybody was like, "Oh my god!" And that was because everybody has forgotten that Rockstar, since basically ever, has announced a game is going to come out and has delayed the game at least once every title since the dawn of time. And lo and behold, what has happened? Red Dead Redemption 2 is now moved into, I think it's a spring window for 2018.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be honest.
6-7
I
months
actually think that they do this purposely. I think that they announce games when things aren't the hottest for them, or when they feel as though other companies are getting. There's a lot of. They do this a lot in movies too, and I'm sure that it's the same practice here. Where I'm not saying that this is necessarily the case, but it definitely happens. Where, say, for example, you have DC that announces. Wonder Woman. Like right now, Wonder Woman is getting an insane amount of good press. Like apparently, it is like the best thing
Apparently
since
a really
sliced
good
bread.
She's mildly
so-
attractive, by the way.
Yeah. So when that happens, Marvel will come out and they'll make a massive announcement, right? Or Disney will come out and they'll make a huge announcement. So I actually believe that maybe not this is the case, but it most certainly happens, and this could even have been the case. Where at the time they needed to make a big announcement that's going to trend on Twitter, that's going to get people talking, get people excited, get people investing in their shares, all that fun stuff, announce the shit, and full well knowing that it's not going to come out when they say it's going to come out, and then delay it, keep the word going. This is going to be, we're sitting here talking about it. It's probably all over Twitter's talking about it. Everywhere's talking about it. And it's not going to affect the amount of sales they get. It's just keeping the game relevant, and it's giving them more time.
So that was actually really interesting the way you phrased that, because I do exactly 100% agree with you. I'm pretty sure they announced this back then because it was a lull and they needed a bump. And the timing of this announcement saying that they have to delay it was very interesting, because what happened was, as soon as they said we're delaying until spring, their Take-Two stock utterly tanked. Like they took a massive hit. And then surprise, surprise, Take-Two announced their earnings within a couple of hours.
And then boom.
And after hours trading, shot back up, because you know why? NBA 2K17 is apparently doing really well. GTA, a game which has been out for years, is apparently still printing money. With like the whole GTA RP and everything, it got a huge resurgence. So people are like, apparently they're just making a ton of money from it. So like as soon as the Take-Two earnings got announced, they shot back up. So I feel like they're like, okay, this is going to really tank us, because it happened with GTA when they said we're delaying, they tanked. So they're like, oh, let's have a counter announcement where earnings are absolutely amazing. And they kind of just balanced it out. So this is, I think, entirely shareholder driven.
I mean, these people are billion-dollar companies. They know what they're doing.
They know what they're
There
doing.
is a science to everything. They just don't wake up in the morning and go, fuck, rats. The game is just not going to be out in time, boys. We ought to hit Twitter and let them know. This shit is known long in advance. And even if they had planned a 2017 release, in the back of their minds, they're going, well, there's a very strong possibility this will not be ready in 2017. And they're still going to run with it, because it's a story, it's the headlines, it creates hype, it creates
and then
shares,
there's EA.
and that's, or it doesn't create shares, but it sells and trades and all that other stuff. So it's the
And
game.
Ubisoft too, actually.
It's a game.
I think the other thing is they that's totally accurate, and they can get away with it. But I think why they can get away with it more freely than other studios can get away with it. Rockstar is in the
AAA,
they're
in the full level.
They're the top. There's like they're the quad. Yeah,
their
quad
games are
AAA.
phenomenal. Games are amazing.
So whenever they come out, first of all, I think everybody understands for the most part, despite the fact the stock tanked out, which is hilarious. I think that's just because it was moved into a window that was outside of when their dividends were going to be fucking
like
dropping in.
It's like three quarters late.
So. With that being the case, it's whatever, but the sales for the game are never going to be affected. They could literally release that game in any day, at any time, anywhere. It's not going to affect the sales whatsoever, because it's a Rockstar game. And when they release a game, it sells huge, makes all sorts of money, and everybody's happy. Because the game,
because they're always great. Always great.
The games are always friggin' awesome. So
here's another thing.
They can get away with it.
Is how well GTA 5 is doing. They may go, hey, let's pump the brakes here on Red Dead, and let's ride this RP wave. Let's ride this surge, because if Red Dead comes out, all those people that are buying GTA 5 are no longer buying GTA 5. They're buying Red Dead. It's going to slow down the sales. Let's just let this gravy train run. People are going to be here on the other end anyway, and we're going to have our cake and we're going to eat it too.
I guarantee you they're going to add. They're looking into ways to add more of like GTA Online stuff and that whole RP type stuff.
Red Dead.
The Red Dead universe lends itself to so much to that style thing. I've
100%.
always wanted to be a cowboy there. Great game.
Yeah, exactly.
Great game.
Red Dead 2 RP. It's gonna happen for sure.
Phenomenal.
All I need to know about Red Dead Redemption 2 is whether or not they're going to be able to top the late title card from Red Dead Redemption 1. That's literally all I need to know, because it's still the greatest late title card of all time.
That was
in
a couple
video
hours
games.
in, wasn't it?
A couple. It was the end of the fucking game. You literally, spoiler alert, I'll give you a few seconds here for those of you who don't want to hear this. If you somehow at this point, if you wanted to but haven't played Red Dead Redemption, when you finish Red Dead Redemption, the guy that you played the game as, unfortunately, bites the bullet, literally. Dude gets KO'd. And when you continue, you can continue the game as his son, okay? And as his son, you have a mission to basically track down the dudes who killed his father. The late title card is after like 40, 50 hours of playing this game. You catch the guy, you fucking get him gun to head, bullet fires, and as the bullet fires, bam, Red Dead Redemption comes up on the screen. Greatest late title card of all time.
You played the prequel without knowing it.
Oh, it's unbelievable. When it happened, I was just in awe for like 3-4 hours straight. It was just like, I can't believe they just pulled that off, and it was so beautiful. It was one of the greatest things I'd ever seen.
And it's one of those things
beautiful?
where you forget.
Oh, sorry.
And it's no. It's one of those things where you forgot long ago that there was no title screen, and so you're not even thinking.
Oh, it's not.
And
even
then it
fucking
all
there.
happens right at the end. And you're like, oh my god,
yes!
there it is. Oh shit,
like,
the ending was crazy. What the fuck?
Yeah, it was epic.
That's fire.
Oh, it's absolute fire. Oh, it's. I still think Red Dead's the best game that Rockstar has ever made, and so Red Dead 2, it's got some big boots to fill coming out, but I'm sure they're gonna smash it out of the park. I'm sure it's gonna be an incredible experience. What I was gonna say there for my segue of, you know what's not fire? Far Cry. As much as everybody rides this game's friggin' dick, I cannot stand Far Cry. Because they have been producing, they've turned into the Call of Duty of first-person shooters that don't involve multiplayer. And every game has been basically the same. And to their credit...
There was a Far Cry 4?
Yes. And it was exactly the same as 3, except they changed the antagonist. So what happened was, I played through all of Far Cry 3. It was a pretty good game. You know, it wasn't anything to friggin' write home about. It was just it was a solid game. It was
the one where you're on the island and you do all the crazy hunting and crap, right?
Right. And in 3 was when 4 was where they spawned out that second game for the primal thing. So in 3, they accidentally stumbled upon one of the greatest villains of all time. The villain in 3 wasn't even supposed to be the villain originally, but the guy came in, the voice actor, and smashed it so much out of the park, the writers went, fuck me, we need to make this guy the main guy. And so Voss was this guy's name, and everybody knows Voss because of the trailer where he talks about, do you know the definition of insanity? And he is, as for all the game is worth, which as a game it's kind of whatever, that character, one of the greatest characters of all time, bar none. The guy killed it. Comes out, smashes it so much that they rewrite the fucking game. How much better can you get as a voice actor that they do that to the game? Move on to 4. At this point, they were like, people really liked Voss. What can we do? Let's basically make Voss 2.0. And so they did. And they tried to recreate that magic, and it was complete shit. In my opinion, it was terrible. And not only that, but the mission structure and everything was identical to 3, down to the point where in 3, I think it was a field of marijuana that you blow down with a flamethrower. And in 4, this is where I stopped the game. I was playing 4 on stream. I get up to it, and it's like, hey, we need to go burn down this opium field. And I went, nope, peace. And I was gone. Literally the exact same shit. I was like, what kind of weird Twilight Zone am I in? So with 5... I don't know if we're going to be like, there's no cocaine field, so I don't know what we're going to be burning
I'm
down.
the only one here qualified to talk about number 5 setting.
Yes. Very true. Very true. However, I have more to say on it, but I want to get Panic's take on it. And we'll move around because I have something specifically about 5 that I'm, most disappointed about. But I'll go ahead, Panic.
Oh, I was gonna say, I thought it was a ballsy move to pick that setting for 5. I don't know how they're gonna make it large scale as the other ones, but and some of the character art seemed really interesting, but I don't know how they're gonna get like the gravitas of like a Far Cry game. I feel like it's gonna be a derpier BioShock style feel with the way they're kind of building up the characters in it. Jeff, do you know much about the setting, or do you not see much about it yet?
I don't know anything, so you may as well describe it for everybody.
Yep. So this takes place in Montana, roughly around, I believe, current times. A fanatical cult, which is all around old style America. America is based on that, and they have like a Jesus, like So
I'm riding on the back of the bus type America.
Yeah, pretty much. And I'm stuck outside the country on some travel ban type of thing.
I can make this easier for you, Panic. Jeff, you want to know what this game is? Outlast 2. All right, continue.
Oh, okay.
Pretty much. Yeah. So it's kind of hilarious.
The game's fucking shit.
So I'm curious. I feel like it's gonna look amazing, but I think it's gonna fall short, just like the last 3 Far Cry games. It's gonna look phenomenal. Crytek, they know their crap, but their game chops have been kind of like a whistle. I'd be whistling that noise right now.
Yeah, it's okay. So to elaborate on what I mean by that, I actually talked about this on stream when people were asking me about Outlast 2. The Outlast was a huge streaming game for like this small window of time before the whole world found out the game sucked. So people were asking me, are you going to play Outlast 2? Blah 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 blah. And I was like, you know what? No, I'm not. I'm not actually going to play that game because I'm tired of zombies. And I have been for a really long time now in games. I don't want to see a zombie for like maybe a decade. I'd be cool. Maybe then I'll be okay with zombies again. This whole Southern American Bible Belt fanatical Christian cult thing that's been growing ever since True Detective made it fucking hot fire in season 1.
Domestic terrorists.
And it's not like they're the first people to do it, but when True Detective did that, the ramp just went fucking vertical, and we just started getting more TV shows and movies and video games, all this stuff doing that exact shtick. It's let's go down with the even American Horror Story did it, not about 4 or 5 months ago. The Bible Belt inbred Christian crazies. And then make a game based around it, except this isn't a horror game. This is just, Far Cry. So they've got the Jesus dude. They've got the dude carving stuff into his arms. Repent now! He's got like greed or some shit written into his arms. It looks bad as far as the setting goes. Yeah, like it's really, really silly. I don't know why.
I think it's ballsy to go for it, but they're pretty much playing in every trope.
Yes.
Ballsy in what way?
It's pretty controversial, at least here in the States. It's a very polarizing setting.
Donald Trump is president of the United States right now, so I mean, it's literally whatever, right? I mean, I don't know. I don't think it by the sounds of it, it sounds pretty shitty. It doesn't sound very unique in any way. It sounds like it's been done before, but I don't know. I haven't watched it. I haven't watched the trailer or anything like that, but it doesn't.
Don't.
Okay.
Don't.
I won't.
Not missing anything.
You're not missing. Oh, we just filled you in on everything you see in that trailer. And the best part is where they pulled this whole trailer was done in-game engine. It's like, yeah, awesome. And to be honest, as the game looks pretty good.
It looks all right.
It's not like it's blowing my fucking socks off. Like it just looks like every other AAA PC game at the, it doesn't look that much more exciting.
I mean, companies still do that. They really put down in little tiny font, like this is actual gameplay footage.
They have to.
That's the thing. They have to. Because ever since of what was the game that fucked that up real bad at E3? Shit.
This was a long time ago. They showed like all pre-rendered footage, and they never showed actual gameplay footage until the game came out. And people now they have to say in-game footage or pre-rendered.
Yeah. That was there was a whole bunch of stuff around that. But the game, I mean, again, the games are never like truly horrific. They're decent games. But my God, do they pump those things up something fierce? And I was hoping they'd do something, different. Because they pulled Primal and they basically made another game within Far Cry 4, and now here we are again. And it's just silly. Go ahead.
I'll tell you how it's going to be, and it's going to be a great first 3 to 5 hours. It's going to be like
it just falls
all the
off
bells
when
and
it
whistles are going to
Set
go off.
pieces.
Yeah, they'll have some cool action set pieces. The direction, the voice acting will be good. It'll be exciting. And then once you get up on that world map and you start climbing towers and you start looking at new areas, it all is going to be repetitive garbage. It's going to be a bunch of filler. Go here, kill this, go there. Make sure black people are at the back of the bus. Make sure Panic is not in the country, and that'll be the show, right? And it'll do that over and over and over again. It's just it'll be a fun 4 or 5 hours, and then it's going to be the same repetitive shit, and it'll just get dull. It'll just get dull. That's what's gonna happen.
I agree. I think that's pretty much what's going to go down. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we've hit the halfway point, and on time. Remarkably, for the first time in weeks, we were actually moving into break on time. Now that doesn't mean the second half is going to stay on time, but the first half is. So we're going to go to break. Enjoy the sellout as always. And also, again, guys, thank you for everybody that's head on over to iTunes and giving us those ratings, because we're now at 80, I believe, is the last time I checked. We're at 80 ratings on iTunes, and 79 of those are 5 stars. So thank you guys so much. And please,
one guy.
He was early, and it was 4 stars, and he was like, great podcast. It just gave it 4 stars. It's just like, oh, it's forever tarnished.
Oh, that guy was rating that too, like he was just doing it too truthful. It's like, hey, they had audio issues. If it didn't have that audio issue, this would be a perfect 5. Come on, bro.
Yeah,
you're gonna do us like that. There's always one. It's like
on
YouTube. There's that one douche that'll hit the dislike button.
The dislike every time.
The moment the video goes up, and it's just like, really, dude, you didn't even watch the vid, man. That guy.
But yeah, thank you guys so much. And so yeah, enjoy the sellout, and we will be back. For those of you watching this live, we'll be back in a few minutes. So sit tight. Peace. Hey guys, if you're enjoying Technical Alpha and are interested in supporting us, do I have a solution for you? We've set up this Patreon page to help us, and you. We've got a list of options that would make a used car salesman cry that provide you with a range of goodies for your support. Head on over to patreon.com/technicalalpha to see what's up for grabs. Like fancy badges and stuff? Subscribe to us on Twitch to get access to, well, badges and stuff. Not big on subscriptions. We have a button below that allows you to directly throw money at our faces. Careful you don't take those eyes out though. We are so very fond of our eyes. Honestly though, while we like to joke about the sellout, just being a regular listener is a huge help, and we're incredibly thankful for all of your support. Technical Alpha will continue soon, so sit tight. ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Technical Alpha Podcast. We have survived another break, another lengthy sellout time.
While you're away, Panic and I were talking about smoking weed and
And what it would do to you.
What?
I was like, I could not picture Adam smoking weed. I think I said I think there'd be more of a chance of me doing heroin than Adam smoking marijuana.
There is a orders of magnitude greater chance that you would be doing smack before I was doing anything like smoke weed. So yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. You'd be banging lines of coke before I was doing any sort of smoking weed.
On a fun note, speaking of weed, although I haven't smoked weed in over 5 years, the day I quit my
Congratulations.
day job. Oh, thank you. I'm 5 years free.
Congrats.
I'm actually, I already have it in place now, in terms of like the investment, and I am now making moves and talking to people and reading up on all the things that I'll need to have to open up some dispensaries. So when weed becomes legal, I'm gonna be opening up a dispensary for sure.
Blunt.
I don't know. I don't honestly. I highly doubt that it will have anything to do with my brand or anything. I think it's more of going to be me investing.
You're just going to be an investor,
a partner. Yeah.
So
like
no Baus blunts.
No Baus blunts. It'll just be kind of some silent money, and then hopefully things will pan out. But there's a lot of things that are coming into place. Like soon you're going to be able to start applying for licenses and different things, and then also you're going to have to be so far away from school districts, malls. There'll only be allowed a certain dispensary between other dispensaries, so there's all kinds of like logistical things that you got to deal with. But I think we're probably about 2 years out before it's going to be a reality.
You know what? I don't. Colorado. Oh yeah, but you know what, and I hope people then are out there don't take this the wrong way, because I honestly don't care if you smoke weed. Believe me, I don't care. 90% of the people that I spend time with hit the shit on a daily basis. I just don't care. But what I am hoping happens when this is legalized here in Canada, and eventually in the States, I'm sure at least the majority will be covered at some point in the not too distant future. I just hope that I stop hearing about all of the fucking weed shit, because weed culture is up there with Vape
why
Nation.
I'm so happy about it.
Like it's like spinners, vegans, CrossFit, weed. Like that's like just, and if you do all, and there's some Venn diagram. Yeah, there's like a Venn diagram where there's a group that hits on every damn one of those, and it's like a nightmare come fucking true. Weed culture drives me fucking up the wall, just like all the other things I just talked about. Because for some reason, so many. It's not all people that smoke up either. Obviously, but there's lots of people that I know that don't talk about it. It's just the thing that they do, and it's just another part of their routine. They just don't care. But my God, is there a lot of people that just can't stop bringing it up? Like it doesn't even come up in conversation. He's like, "Yeah, I smoke it up, man. I smoke weed. It's not a big deal. It should just be legal. Why isn't it legal? I mean, alcohol is worse than weed. It's like, I just why is it that we can drink but we can't smoke? And it just goes off. And people
because the government hasn't found a way to tax it yet. That's all.
Like we were talking about tea cozies, motherfucker. What are you bringing up weed for? Get out of here. Jeez, fuck.
I'm more concerned that you're talking about tea cozies. That's what I'm concerned about, Adam.
Coincidentally, you might have been high just to get to the point where you're talking about tea cozies.
I would say out of like the 15,000 people that'll listen to this podcast, there's probably at least 400 or 500 that are absolutely blaze shit stoned right now listening. And shout out to you guys.
Only 400 to 500?
That purple rain.
Purple rain. Purple rain.
So, movie stuff.
Yeah, that wasn't part of it. I'm sure, that everybody found that entertaining. But you know what I have to be smoking weed to enjoy?
What was that?
Hearing about the fact that they're doing a Resident Evil reboot, Jeff.
Oh yeah, well you know what? Okay,
they just,
we're
finish
we're
the
under
series?
the movies here. We're in the movie talk, and I added two things here just because I know Adam doesn't keep up with all the movie stuff like I do, so I had to throw in the.
I actually heard about
reboot.
this. To be fair, I did hear about this. I just didn't. It didn't register in my mind.
don't
to,
believe
to
you.
talk about it.
Well,
No, I did. I read it. I saw it on Twitter.
Yeah, the reason why I wanted to bring that up, and we kind of briefly talked about Resident Evil a couple of weeks ago, when we were trying to figure out like best video game to movie adaptation, and I still think Resident Evil, the original Resident Evil, is still one of the best. The reason why I'm happy about this is because James Wan is producing it, and whatever James Wan touches is not only box office gold, but it's actually legitimate, awesome shit.
Okay, Jeff.
Every single time.
Let's pretend there's a lot of people like me out there that don't know the names of every producer, director, key grip, best boy, and all the other fruity names that mean absolutely nothing that they came up with for the movie industry. What exactly has James done that we need to know about so we can apply why it's good that he's doing Resident Evil?
Okay, so James Wan directed the original Saw movie, which how he got it. That's what he got his big break doing, and then from there he went. He's been sort of the horror genre guy. He's the guy that made pretty much every great horror movie, not every, but everything that he touches. So for example, the original Saw was great. Obviously, he stopped being part of a lot of those as they continued, and he blew up. He did a movie called Dead Silence, which was good. He did Insidious, which is an amazing good horror. Good. Yeah, The Conjuring, which is probably my favorite.
Conjuring is mine too.
And then, of course, he got out of the movie, the horror genre for a short period of time, and he did Fast 7. And Fast 7 with the whole Paul Walker thing, all that stuff, he turned it around. He made an awesome, fun movie. He gave a brilliant tribute at the end, and of course, it made like $1.5 billion. He came back
one of the best send-offs in movie history.
Yeah, he came back and did The Conjuring 2. Which was also really, really good. And then in terms of producing things, he produced, I do believe he produced, what else did he produced he executive produced all the Saws as a producer just because it was his baby. But he did Annabelle, he did Insidious, Chapter 3, The Conjuring, Chapter 2, Lights Out, which was so much fun. If you guys didn't see the movie Lights Out, that was pretty good. It's another horror movie. And then, of course, now he's going to be directing Aquaman, and they're filming that right now. So he's going to be directing Aquaman. And
some of the production stills from that actually look really interesting. They've just started leaking them out.
It looks damn good. But what I'm trying to say here, dude, is and of course he did the writing. Like he wrote Aquaman, he did The Conjuring, Insidious. Usually, I mean, when he became such a big name, he really became a household name. I would say around The Conjuring, the Insidious Conjuring is when he really started to make a lot of buzz. But he also writes a lot of this. Sometimes he has co-writers. He produces his stuff, and he directs the majority of it. Now, the reason why I'm getting excited about this is because, like I said, everything this guy touches is gold. And although I know there's probably a lot of people out there that are like, dude, I didn't like Insidious, or I didn't like whatever. If you're a horror genre fan, chances are you've enjoyed his films because of the garbage that's out there. And not only that, he's now done things outside of the horror genre, and he's done extremely well. I'm just really excited that he's going to be at least producing them. It wouldn't surprise me if he didn't direct one. You never know. It probably depends on his schedule and the amount of money that these budgets and stuff. But he is high demand, and the fact that he's backing this up, great.
I hope maybe the Resident Evil reboot that they're doing will actually be horror and not just action anymore.
Yeah.
I feel like they need to let the franchise rest a little bit. Didn't they just release one of the movies? Let it rest for a little while, before they
Well-
start it up again.
Well, you know,
I know it's going to be a couple of years before it comes out, but even then.
yeah, it will be. It will be some time. I'm sure we probably won't see anything until like 2019. But I'm okay with them rebooting it like almost right away, simply because I am tired of the old. I'll be honest, I haven't watched a Resident Evil movie since I think Resident Evil 3 or something, when it became when it looked like a shitty video game. I don't even remember which one it was. There's so many of them now.
I'm surprised you got that far, to be honest with you.
Yeah, and I'm a huge Resident Evil fan. I just stopped watching them. I'm just not interested in the garbage. But the first one was so good. It's got so much promise. And I'm okay with them rebooting it because I want Resident Evil, but I want an actual Resident Evil again. And if they're going to reboot it and give me that, I'm at the movie theater. I'm throwing money. And if you put James Wan on there, if I see him on the screen and credit for him, I don't care if it's executive producing, directing, writing. I don't care. Put his name on the screen.
I feel like they brought him back to get the horror aspect there.
Yep, 100%. 100%. It will be a horror movie. Mark my words. It will be good. And he's also can prove that he can do action. And if he can mix the two, I think it'll be something special. So what do you guys think? Let me know what you guys think about the reboot.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with Panic that this feels like, even though it's going to be a couple years.
Yeah.
Just let it rest a little bit. I'm completely on board with it.
This is like, this is so soon. It's like, can you even call it a reboot? This is like it's reboot by nature, but my God, they literally just announced that this last one was the last Resident Evil movie, and then all of a sudden it's like, hey, we're back.
Well, it is in that sort of universe or that series.
Well, in that universe,
they're
starting
doing
it back.
Yeah,
it's like
they're
Batman.
starting it.
It's like Batman with Nolan. They let the Batman Nolan franchise rest for a little while before they started the whole DC universe again.
Well, I mean, we're talking Batman and Resident Evil. I mean, there's a reason why those are kind of different. I mean, you're talking about Batman, and then you're talking about fucking Resident Evil and whoever's going to star in that.
As long as these movies do well in China, does it even matter? And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Resident Evil does gangbusters in China. So
something like that.
Almost every movie does gangbusters in China. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, Resident Evil doesn't exactly blow it out of the friggin' park domestically, so China is like probably where they make most of their money. So, you know, as long as it does well there, then I guess none of this it's all conjecture. It doesn't even matter as long as it does well there. But I'm excited to see it because that guy obviously knows his stuff and does well. I would love to have seen him be more involved, and I'd have more faith in it. It's nice if he was doing like a producer or something like that, but I think
he is producing for sure.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I mean, so I'd love to see just how much he'll be able to influence the movies.
Yeah. It's kind of like if Steven Spielberg produces a film, the director will go to Steven Spielberg, and because James Wan, chances are he'll write and produce it at least.
Right.
The director will kind of go to James Wan, and I wouldn't even be surprised if James
will be there
for the big, the big things that go down. And usually producers, especially like if, say, for example, Brad Pitt, he produces a lot of great films. People don't know that, but Brad Pitt is one hell of a businessman and not only action star, but he also knows what the fuck he's doing. It's the same sort of deal. They have so much talent and so much, they know the business so well that they can put such an influence on the director that it almost feels as though James Wan is directing the movie in a way, right? So it's a big influence. So I'm already sold on it. I'm not going to say like I'm super excited, but I'm sold on it. But if he announces, hey, I'm going to direct this too, oh my God, I'm even more ready. I'm even more.
Yeah, it just sounds like if this was going to happen, he's the guy he's the only guy that you would want to see be involved in it, and so it's giving it the best possible shot.
It gives it some legitimacy again as a horror genre, because when James Wan touches horror, it is horror. Period. He's got a knack for it. Yeah,
and I'm down for that. I'd love to see Resident Evil actually be horror. That would be fantastic.
Go with its actual source material.
Yeah, exactly. Like the source material. Well, like the original source material. Resident Evil also turned into an action fest anyway, so it didn't much make much of a difference in that medium. Next up, gentlemen, it's something that I love talking about whenever I get an opportunity to talk about it. It's John Wick.
John Wick.
Update this. So John Wick 3, obviously we already knew that it was happening. Everybody knew it was happening. They said it was going to happen, but they've just started to do some interviews and talk about what the direction of the movie is going to be like, because people are interested in, given how the last one ended, what kind of direction is the third one going to be in. And from what I've read so far, and it excited me the most because it was what I loved about John Wick 1 over top of John Wick 2, was the fact that in John Wick 1 they focused more on the details of the actual world itself of John Wick and all the intricacies of the assassins, guild or whatever you wanted to call it. Whereas 2 got a little more actiony and a little less about that. And so now in 3, the question people said is, are you going to go big? Are you going to go bigger and bigger? Are you going to turn it into like a crazy action fest? And they said they're not going to, and they're going to focus on the small stuff, which is what I'm most excited about.
I disagree. I think 2 had a lot more intricacy in the Assassin's world than they showed in even the first one. The first one, you kind of knew it was there and they alluded to it. But the second one, you got to see a lot of these things and they used that as the down points in the movie. So I disagree that.
I'm just going on what the dude who did the movie is saying. So whatever he feels that they did in the second one, he wasn't happy with it, and he's going to bring back whatever feel they're going for in the first one.
He wasn't happy. He wasn't happy with what they did in the second.
He said he didn't.
In terms of covering the actual world building aspects of John Wick, like in terms of explaining the minute details, or just having it, not explaining it, but having it be part of the background where you notice it. That was what I liked about John Wick, was it didn't hit you over the head with here's exposition. It was, the whole idea that everybody knew who John was and the coins and all the other stuff. It all was there. And you kind of learned about everything without them having to sit you down and tell you every single detail about it. And they did that a little less in 2. And so he was saying they want to go back to what they were doing in 1 and amp that up even more, which is what I'm so excited about.
I wasn't even super excited about this announcement. And this is not in a negative way. Like John Wick as a franchise, to me, after the first and second one, it's just like, if they release one, I'm just going to go to the theater and watch it, like hands down. Like, it's not even a question for me. So this announcement, I'm not excited about, because I'm like, it's going to be good either way. Like, the director knows what he's doing. The writers know what they're doing. Keanu and everyone being involved, they've done a fantastic job. So I'm like, John Wick 3, I think it's going to be fine. They actually mentioned something towards the end of the article, which I was super interested in, which actually is what excited me, was the John Wick TV show, possibly, where they're going to do, instead of a prequel movie and like do all of that, they'll cover that stuff, and they want to do a more small screen approach, because then they can do a lot of the exposition. Like, as much as I love the action in John Wick, the universe that they kind of built in the world with the whole Assassin Guild and everything, that's super interesting to me. I was like amazed at how much detail they got into what was supposed to be like a 90-minute popcorn flick.
Yeah.
And then in the second one, they went even further with it. So like them doing something like, even if they do it like Netflix original style, where it's, short run, and you get to see the exposition, I'm like super excited for that. Like, I want to see like a longer form John Wick storytelling, where it's not just, action fest gun fu. I want to see like some of the more slower paced character development that you can get in some of those shows.
Yeah.
I wonder what you guys think about that.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I thought they did a phenomenal job with, I don't know what this director's smoking, honestly. I think maybe he is trying to give a little bit too much fan service, or I don't know, maybe people were complaining a little bit, but even though it's got incredible reviews, I thought they did a great job. I thought they, in terms of building the world, they did 10 times more than what they did in the first movie. In the first movie, they alluded to a lot of things. It's like, oh my God, what are these coins what is this currency? What is this underground world? Who is this John Wick guy? Like, what are these stories behind this? Who are these different assassins, and why are the way that things are the way? And then I found in number 2, they answered quite a bit of those questions, and they did it in a way that wasn't direct. Like, they did it in a way that it wasn't like, hey, there's a reason why this character is here, and this is who I am, and this is, and explaining it to the audience like we're stupid. The people that are going to see this movie, it's a rated R movie. There's going to be adults going. The people that saw the first John Wick, chances are action fans, older, not even older, but I would say, from mid early 20s to, in their 50s or 60s. It's just that kind of demographic. It's a smart, mature demographic. They didn't dumb it down like watching a RoboCop remake or something. You know what I mean? Where it's like a bunch of 14-year-olds are going there and they just want to see shit explode. It was fun. It didn't take itself too serious, but it was also sophisticated in a way. It felt as though John Wick 2 was everything that The Matrix Reloaded wish it was. It really felt like it felt like a lesser Matrix, but all in better ways. It felt like a what The Matrix should have become. The first Matrix was the same reaction we got with John Wick 1. Oh my God, the story here. Who are these characters? What? I need more. And then 2 came out, and it was this massive CGI fuckfest. And although there was some cool set pieces and there was some decent story building, they knew damn well that it was going to be a trilogy. So they didn't answer all the things. There was a lot of cliffhangers, and the story, the writing wasn't bad, or it was bad. In John Wick 2, it's like, hey, we knew what we were. We explained things enough to keep the audience happy. We upped the ante in terms of action, but we didn't do it over the top. We knew exactly what we were. And even the color palette of the film is very Matrixy. The color scheme that they had, the music choices that they had, there's like a lot of rock or EDM type weird music, and a lot of vibrant
the
greens,
weird, like,
and
trance.
Like a trance thing,
house.
like you'd go into a nightclub and a bunch of people on ecstasy and Molly and shit, like that kind of feel. John Wick 2, in my opinion, is what The Matrix Reloaded should have been. And I think that if they do the third one correctly, they wrap up the story. They don't leave an open end for a John Wick 4. They wrap it up in a way, whether John dies in an amazing way, or he finally gets to retire, whatever the case may be. I hope they rest the character, they finish up the story, they add a little bit more to the world, and maybe from there, if they play their cards right and they get some good side actors and other cameo characters, even Common's character, and then they go, hey, these characters are so great, let's go ahead and do a Netflix series, and we can get into that world, and maybe even Keanu Reeves can show up at some point throughout those series. But I wouldn't even mind. I mean, it's an assassin world. There's so many different things and different areas that you could be in, that you could do for a great television show. So I like the fact that the director said that. I loved John Wick 2, as you can probably tell. It wasn't a perfect movie. No, it wasn't. But at the same time, what movie is perfect? I haven't been to a perfect movie in a very, very, very long time, if ever. So
I don't think there's ever been a perfect movie.
In terms of an action film, and it's a sequel on top of that, and it came out and it did double the business. I mean, what? 166 million, and the first one did 88 million. I mean, come on. And it all positive, the majority of them positive reviews. Keanu Reeves hit the jackpot again.
And low budget comparatively. They do better than a lot of the larger scale movies.
And maybe that's why it felt so much like The Matrix, because Keanu Reeves is in it. And maybe he just brought a little bit of that character. Lawrence Fishburne's in it. And you know what? That's not a bad thing, because I can almost forget the other Matrix. And now, Keanu Reeves has become John Wick. He's no longer Neo. And that, in my opinion, is great. A reboot that I would love to see would be The Matrix, which has been talked about, but we'll see what happens with that. But for Keanu Reeves, I think John Wick is his new character. I think that's it. I couldn't picture anybody else being John Wick. No one.
That's when we first talked about John Wick 2
is one of the Matrix realities.
Oh, they're tying everything together.
Ooh,
but I think that's what I talked about when we first talked about John Wick 2, was that I knew the point where I knew that John Wick was going to be something particularly big was when when the internet stopped referring to Keanu Reeves as Neo and started referring to him as John Wick. And as soon as that happened, then you knew it was all over. I mean, he's been Neo for like what
Ever.
15 years,
Yeah, pretty much.
and now all of a sudden he's John Wick.
Yeah, like 20
That's a
years
pretty
now.
big deal. That's
Yeah.
a pretty big deal. So I'm super excited. Yeah, the TV show, I agree again because I'm totally enthralled by the universe that they built for John Wick. I would love to see it. I would love to see it be a Netflix special, but I'm biased because everything Netflix makes I find to be straight fire. So I'd love to see Netflix get their hands
I watched,
on it.
this is kind of tangential. It's not on the list, but 13
Sure.
Reasons Why Netflix
Yeah,
made
yeah,
that.
yeah,
Kayla's
yeah.
watching that.
Oh my god, dude! I thought I thought it looked stupid. I just like turned on the first episode, and then I was up until 6 a.m. and I watched the entire thing in like one sitting. It was brutal.
It just seems so damn depressing. That's why I just didn't.
It
watch
is
it's meant-
extremely
it's meant
depressing.
to
I
be.
highly
Yeah.
recommend. I highly recommend you do not watch that if you are not in a good headspace. It will fuck you up.
Yeah,
Well,
it's
yeah,
just like,
exactly.
I
Phenomenal show,
don't
very
like
compelling.
going to movies that make me feel bad.
Yeah, it's
like there's
very,
certain movies that I just don't like going to watch because I know, and
It
I'm
has
a
to be in a
pretty
certain mood.
yeah. But the thing is, like
Yeah.
when I watch movies, like I get emotional, man. Like I cry during a lot of movies. I'm an emotional person, so I typically, if I leave a movie and it was amazing, like if I get at a fast 8 and I had a great time, not saying that's an amazing movie, but if I had a good time, I leave the theater pumped and hitting the
You want
gas
to leave
pedal a
happy.
little
You don't want to
harder.
leave sad.
Yeah, if I leave a comedy laughing my ass off, I'm usually in a happy-go-lucky mood. If I leave the theater or I'm in my house at a long day at work or the day was just not going good and I'm watching 13 Ways to Commit Suicide or whatever the hell it's called,
Don't go
I
watch
just
13
don't.
Reasons Why. Just don't.
Yeah, then I was just like,
It'll go
why
badly
would
for
I
you.
put myself in this? It's like going to rewatch
go
Schindler's
badly.
List. It's like, why am I doing this?
I honestly had a similar experience when I watched. I didn't watch all of the episodes, but I watched a handful of the Black Mirror series.
Yeah.
And I had that
I love
exact
Black
same
Mirror. Very
thing.
trippy.
I have to be in a really specific headspace to watch stuff like that. And when I watched Black Mirror, every episode, I was just getting more and more depressed about the current state of affairs in the world because the show was so on the nose about everything and so on point, in a totally blown out of proportion in a hyperbolic type way. But yet it didn't matter because you realized that it might be a bit of hyperbole right now, but we're quickly approaching the apex of what that show actually is doing. And there was one episode in particular. I don't know how much. Did you guys both see all of the episodes of Black Mirror?
No,
or only?
I only watched.
I've seen a bunch of them,
like
but they're kind of just like standalone episodes anyway.
yeah, they are. They're
Yeah,
different.
exactly. Well,
things
I was
each
just
time,
seeing
right?
in case you guys saw this episode that I'm referencing. So at least Panic will probably know.
Yeah, I don't
so
mind
it was
spoilers.
the one.
Yeah, I've seen a bunch of them.
Yeah, so it was the one where they're on where like you're either you're on a bicycle all day,
Oh, the
or you're
video
in your
game
room.
one. The
or
video
you're
game.
I guess it was
It's like
a
where
video
you're
game
part
one,
of a
but
show. You're like collecting points and shit.
your goal is to get onto show to become famous, so that you're not part of the people cycling hard, and if you're not them, you're serving the people that are on the
black
bike.
guy. The black guy that
That's
played
what I'm
that is
getting-
an
that's what I'm
amazing
getting to.
actor, and he played in
Yes.
Get Out, and he was fucking incredible. That guy's gonna be a movie star.
Yes, I said that when I saw this episode because he has a speech at the end of this episode that fucking blew my God-forsaken mind. I had
He's amazing.
I actually stared blank at my TV for like a solid 10 minutes after that speech came down because it was so real. First of all, he didn't act a godforsaken lick in that
No, he
scene.
spoke the truth,
that
bro.
that dude believed every fucking word that came out of his mouth. And it's because it's truth, and it was hard to listen to. I actually found it difficult to listen to that, and after that episode, I was like, oh my God, this world is going down in a handbasket.
Let me
That was,
Let me
that was
say,
me at the end of
uh,
13 Reasons Why. That was me at the end of that. I, like,
let me
heard,
say
like,
a few quick little things before we move on to the
Yeah,
next.
sure.
First off, that dude is got cast for Black Panther, so he's going to be Black Panther.
Awesome.
Or yeah, I think he's Black Black Panther.
Wait,
I think that's
Isn't
the
he
guy.
already
Or-
cast
or-
from? It's the guy who did Avengers?
sorry, who is he? He plays Wakobi or whatever his name is. I don't know. Anyway, he's in Black Panther. So
okay.
he's starting to it's a different dude that plays Black Panther. But he's in the movie and he's supposed to have a really big part. whether he is Black Panther or not. But the guy's getting shine. Adam, you should go and watch. There's two of them. The movie Get Out. He stars in Get Out.
I need to see that anyway.
Absolutely fucking amazing of a movie. Please go watch it. It's a mix between horror, mystery,
comedy, to a weird
comedy, to like dark humor. It is, and the acting is superb. The guy's amazing. I can't.
After I saw that episode, I was like, I need to see this guy be in more stuff because he just smashed it so hard.
And I can't believe I'm going to say this because this movie that I'm about to say wasn't good at all. I shouldn't say it wasn't good at all because it got me thinking, but it wasn't a great movie by any stretch. The Circle. Starring Tom Hanks and what's her face from Harry Potter, Emma Watson, the feminist chick.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah. Emma Watson and Tom Hanks, The Circle, which is basically just about social media. It is like Facebook on crack, and dude, it's all about live streaming and shit, dude. You have to watch that movie. It's when it comes out on Netflix. When it comes out on Netflix, watch that movie. For somebody that spends a lot of time on the internet and you're constantly entertaining people and all that other stuff, you leave the movie going, "Whoa, what the fuck? We are literally 1 or 2 years max away from what this is becoming a reality." Like, it's not even.
Is it like the Truman Show type shit? Like, did they go that far? Did they that direction? Like, what do they?
No, well, no,
other
not.
Direction, I think
it's a halfway direction. I don't want to spoil it for you, but I'm telling you, dude, when you watch it, you're gonna go, "Oh, you have to watch it." We'll talk about it on the podcast. Watch it when it comes, and we'll talk about it. YouTube,
absolutely.
Because I know probably both of you has never seen this.
No, I definitely
movie.
I've seen it. I've heard
seen a large chunk of it. I had to I was at a press screening, but I had to leave.
Yeah, you go and check it out. But anyway, I digress.
I'll
What's
finish
next?
it out.
Yeah. No, absolutely. So, in what could have been related better to Resident Evil before we moved on to that topic, Uncharted was announced. The movie was announced, and they announced the guy who's playing Nathan Drake, I guess. Now, there's been a slew of video game movies that have been announced that everybody was excited for, and it seems like Uncharted's got the best shot at actually making it to film at this point, post World of Warcraft. So it's good to see that somebody's actually cast now. So that's even better news. We're getting further and further down the line. So I'm guessing, Jeff, did you put this one in? Okay, so Tom Holland, I know that name, but I'm terrible with names and faces. I can't put a face to the name.
You probably don't know him, honestly. Yeah, you probably don't know him.
I know the name.
He's the guy who's now playing Spider-Man.
Yes. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
He's played in a few things, but he's got his big break via Spider-Man. I was a little confused by this casting, but I understand why they did it. Not only is he young to play Nathan Drake, but the good thing about it is they're actually doing like a prequel. So they're starting it as a young Nathan Drake who is learning about from his mentor or father or something.
Right.
And then they're going to build the character there. Here's why I think they got Tom Holland to play this. Not only is he young, so he's going to be able to grow with this character. Obviously, this is going to be a franchise, 100%. I mean, it's Uncharted. There's so much. I think this is going to be a modern-day Indiana Jones type movie. I think it's going to be a little darker, obviously, much more serious. But I think the fact that they got Tom Holland tells you that it's going to be very quippy. It's going to be very smart and fast-paced humor. Kind of like not as crazy as, say, Deadpool, but maybe kind of like a Chris Pratt Star-Lord type.
Well, that's what the games are like. That's what the games are like, right? So yeah.
So I like that, and also Tom Holland right now, his stock is going up, and they probably got him on the cheap. So that's good. They'll be able to keep him there, and they don't have to pay some major superstar. Also, he's known enough now, and he will be when Spider-Man hits, that it'll be enough to bring in people to the theater. And he's he's good. He's good. He's a good actor. I like this idea of of seeing an Uncharted movie. I only played a little bit of the first game, but just judging by how well the
It's
games
Indiana
have done.
Jones in the future.
Yeah,
pretty much.
So, and it's Sony. Sony, obviously they're going to start
do well by the
integrating.
franchises.
Yeah, they know what they're doing. It's either a big hit or a miss. But I think if they get the right movie director, the right writers, although their scripts are already done, I think that the movie has got a chance to be really, really good. I'm excited about this.
So then let's frame it like that. Who does a good modern Indiana Jones for a director? Who's gonna fill that role the best?
I might say JJ.
Because
I could see JJ. I could see JJ doing that.
If you take him out of the whole special effects thing, he does mystery stuff like really well. Like he was the guy who did Lost.
Mm-hmm.
Like I feel like he could really capture, especially if you take him away from the whole futuristic sci-fi thing. I feel like he could do a very compelling, Indiana Jones type movie.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I'm just right now. I'm just on the internet seeing if they're circling a director or if they have recently, got one or. You guys can keep chatting while I.
yeah, I
look this
could see JJ doing something like that. I think you would have to back him off the special effects button a little bit, but other than that, I think he'd do a good job of it. I agree with that.
Let me see here. Let me see if
without going without his mind blowing part, he would do well. But he's in his mind blowing phase where he just everything's got.
I don't think Nolan matches with Uncharted. To be honest with you, I don't think.
Well,
I mean, it's Nolan's a god, so obviously he's going to do well.
Let's hold up the fun bus here. So it looks as though they found a director.
Okay, then.
And it's going to be Sean Levy, who the only movie I know that he has done is that weird museum movies.
Night of the Museum.
Yeah, don't tell me that's that.
Oh
dude.
my God, with Ben Stiller.
Don't do this.
Oh, don't do it.
That ruins it.
Oh my God. Yeah, it's this dude. He's done The Internship. Ugh.
Oh God. This movie's gonna be bad.
He directed. I think why he got this is because he directed 4 of the Stranger Things episodes, and from what I'm told, from what I'm told, another person from Stranger Things wanted to direct some big movie. It might even have been this guy. I could be spewing out of my asshole right now, but I think I listened to a podcast where they said this dude tried to get a big budget movie and they handed this off to him. And I think if he does this well, then this will be kind of his big break.
This is a stepping stone movie.
I
might go try hard on it.
And somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm almost certain that was the case. And now that I'm hearing this, the fact that he's done Stranger Things and he's directed 4 of them, that makes me feel a little better. And that's his most recent things that he's done. Obviously,
Stranger Things was so good.
Oh, it was great.
Fantastic.
And it was directed so well, and it was focused on characters. So I think that's going to be a good thing for Uncharted.
Makes me feel a lot better.
But obviously, I'm not pumped. I mean, his track record here, besides, I think probably his most, he did Real Steel, and Internship, and Night of the Museum, Secret of the Tomb. Those are his 3 big movies. And although the Internship and Real Steel weren't horrible,
Night at the Museum.
Yeah, he produced all the other ones. But yeah, although the Internship had its moments, it was funny. Real Steel was probably the better of all those movies, and I think that's mainly just because Hugh Jackman's a god, and whatever he touches is just good.
The carry there.
Let's just focus on the fact that he did Stranger Things. Let's just leave it at that and forget about all the other stuff. That's in the past. That's in the past. The more recent stuff he's done, if he's done 4 episodes of Stranger Things, I'm okay with that. I think, and I think you're right. It was a very character driven show, and so with Uncharted being super character driven itself, I think it's a good match. Now we don't know necessarily how much of a direction they're going to go with, how actiony it's going to be versus how much of the character driven stuff we're going to get in the movie yet. But if you even apply a little bit of that to the movie, then it will be great because the games were very good about their characters. So
well, if it's also a young Nathan Drake, I think it's going to be really character focused. Probably going to be him becoming
You would hope,
Nathan
for
Drake
sure.
as the
Yeah.
audience knows him to be. And probably something tragic will happen to his dad or whoever is his whatever. And I think it'll be a good opening. So fingers crossed on that. Not over the moon about the director, but the fact that he's done Stranger Things and a studio is going to hand him, probably $150 million makes me feel a little better.
Let's also just be thankful that for a video game movie, because this is still a video game movie, directors are not exactly easy to come by that aren't, already tied up in some shitty past movies. So this is probably our best shot that we had going in for Uncharted. So thumbs up for that as well. But yeah, Stranger Things.
Good
The
show.
next one's coming out at the end of the year, I think, isn't it? October?
Yeah, I'll be honest.
Like that.
The second
I'll be
one?
honest.
They
I
fast-tracked it.
actually think Stranger Things is a bit overrated. And
It
I'm
is a
saying
little
that
bit.
I'm saying that because
It's
people
overrated, but it's very well done.
really,
Yeah.
really went crazy for that show. And I didn't
Mhm.
watch it when it first came out, so I got to binge watch it. And I really, really enjoyed it. I really, truly did. I loved the cinematography and the feel. It really felt like I was in that time again. All the continuity was well done. You didn't see
nailed the
They wanted
80s
it was-
thing.
sci-fi again.
it was perfect.
They wanted 80s sci-fi, and there's been kind of a
it
clamor
felt
for
it felt 80
'Cause
sci-fi. It really did.
everything has always been like it's become all about like production effects and like mind-blowing things.
Yeah.
Like these guys went for like old school X-File style, old school.
And I
They
like that.
smashed
Sci-fi.
that out of the park.
And I think
yeah.
They
season
did
2
it
will be
well.
even better with a
Yeah.
bigger budget, and I
Yeah.
think it's going to do really well. Because
I
it was
think
the
they
special
maintained the
effects
charm.
that held it back for me. Because when they were there, it really felt like I was watching special effects, and a lot of times when they showed the monster or whatever, it was in very
monster
dark
kinda took me out of
rooms.
it.
You could barely see it. And although there was practical effects, you could definitely tell that they were cheating a lot because of budget restrictions, and they didn't know how successful the show was going to be, obviously. So I think
Yeah.
on season 2,
They'll spend
it's
more
going to
time.
be infinitely better. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Just the feel of the movie, not the movie, the show itself was what tied me in so hard. Like I just loved they hit the 80s thing so well. The
Yeah.
intro theme and the just the grain effect and everything they just did so far. Like I watched the intro for the first time, I was just blown away. I was like, holy crap, this feels so 80s. And so when the practical effects stuff came up, I didn't even bat an eye, right? Like it was like this just feels like an 80s show that I'm watching in the year 2016. And it was great, but the music was incredible.
It almost took you back, right? It almost took you back. It was like
That's why it did so well.
It's like when I watch the movie Stand By Me. When you watch that movie, it just takes you there. And when you watch like the Goonies and stuff, no matter when you watch it, you feel as though you're back in that time.
in that
and the
time.
Stranger Things,
And this show
really
could have
did
come
that.
out in that time frame and would have done fine. Like
Yeah.
it's like, I'm like,
absolutely.
you guys nailed the period piece perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yeah,
this is a show that I would love to watch.
Awesome. So yeah, I'm totally excited for it. I can't wait to talk about it when more information comes out about it, because just Stranger Things is amazing. Gentlemen, it's time to move on to the tech support part of the podcast. So I'm going to get up those questions just so I have a backup copy myself. And I'm guessing you guys have something chosen.
I don't, but I'm looking now.
I'm already ready.
Oh, there you go.
There you
It's
go.
actually
We've got-
a really good segue. Really good segue to what we're talking about right now.
Oh, real? I think I know which one you're talking about, because I think I read some of these
Oh, yeah.
questions earlier. So hit me. What do you got?
So this question is coming from Sam Ostrin. He is one of our current $10 pledges. So thank you for that,
you, Sam.
He's getting that pin.
His question is, if you had to choose between watching only movies or only TV for the rest of your life, which would you choose?
Oh.
Movies. Done.
Really?
I'm quick.
Does Netflix
Why movies?
originals
Why movies?
that are limited in episodic nature count as TV?
Of
That
course.
counts as TV to me.
Yeah, it's TV.
Okay.
Yeah, you go ahead and explain, Adam, because I'm going to look for a question, and then I'll tell
Yeah,
you
of
why
course.
I'm choosing movies.
Yeah, sure. So I'm gonna go with the new age TV, style, right? Where new age. When I say new age, I mean on demand, released all at once per season. It usually only lasts a finite number of seasons. It's not like some sort of crazy 10-season run.
Well, effectively content format.
Yes, it's just an extended format. I like that a lot because for me it hits on the budgetary allowance of a movie while allowing for the story and character development of a TV show. So I
feel like you're cheating.
I'm gonna go for that. That's TV now. Even on TV, TV was like, what's HBO? Fucking every time you watch Game of Thrones, it's an hour long and it's basically a theatrical release, for God's sake. Like, that's just TV now. It's where everything's going. So I feel like that's just kind of where we're at.
Very few shows can do what Game of Thrones.
Sure, but
Game of Thrones has like millions of dollars for a set piece. I mean, that's
yes, of course. Even Netflix shows are 45 minutes to an hour at a pop, right? For a lot of them. So I mean, I think that's, if I can choose that, if I'm gonna choose primetime television where I'm gonna watch fucking Coronation Street, no, fuck that. I don't want to see that shit. But if I can choose Netflix style programming, not so I can watch movies on demand, but the just Netflix original type stuff for short and long form TV type format, then yeah, I'll go with that for those reasons.
What about you, Panic?
I'm gonna go with TV. As much as I love like movie style, like Big Bang, I need the storytelling. I need the depth, and you just can't get that in a movie unless you have tons of movies coming out, which you don't.
I appreciate that. I'm definitely the movie guy.
I like character depth.
Yeah, I'm the movie guy.
That's fair.
There's multiple reasons. Number one, I love the movie experience. I love getting in my car, going on my app, finding the show times, going to the theater, standing in line, getting my popcorn, grabbing my Coke Zero, heading to the theater, sitting down in the middle of the theater, in the middle row, watching the previews, getting excited for what's coming, being in a big dark room with loud ass sound, and escaping from my life, being out of this house, whether it be alone in the movie theater or with my wife or with a friend. I love the experience. Even if I go and see a bad movie, I at least got to have a movie experience, and that you just cannot get in your house. Listen, I've got a fucking $6,000 TV. I've got great theater chairs in there. I've got a bar in behind my chairs. I've got the ultimate man cave, and I would much rather
gotta wear pants while watching movies in a theater, Jeff.
Well, yeah, but I would much rather be in the movie theater. Now, don't get me wrong. I love being in there.
Adam
and
knows
there's a
what I'm
time
talking
and
about.
place for that, right? But I'm just trying to say how much more I would rather. And this is life or death, dude. If somebody told me, Jeff, you got to either eat chicken for the rest of your life or eat
watermelon,
salmon. You don't get that racist. All right. That right there is an easier, that's easy. Obviously, I'm taking chicken. I'm going to, it's kind of a bad thing because I'm black.
You're not
but
a
that's
vegan?
not because I love chicken. If somebody legitimately had a gun to my head and said, motherfucker, TV or movies, bitch, for the rest of your life, and they meant it, that shit is like, that's almost like Kayla saying, Jeff, when are we having kids? It's that important because movies like, believe it or not, man, people think video games is my escape. No, I mean, it was before
now.
It was my job, but movies is where I go to forget my life. And although my life is awesome, I like to be transported to a different place in time, whether that be in a far galaxy away, or whatever. Listen, there are infinitely better movies out there than there are TV shows. And I know that there are great shows, Game of Thrones, Breaking Bad, even Lost to I know I keep coming back to that. I just really liked Lost. It goes on. And like Adams said, Netflix, HBO, these shows are becoming better and better and better. And there's going to become a point in time where even going to the movie theater won't even be an option for some people. They're going to get a great enough content at home, and or movie theater films are going to be on demand the same time as they get released in movie theaters. It's just going to be a matter of time. And then people like Adam that enjoy a good movie, he's not a movie guy. So, I mean, it's easier for him to sit down and enjoy a show that he can get invested in and watch with his girlfriend or whatever and just, relax in the comfort of his home because he's a homebody and that's what he enjoys, like many, many people. But for somebody like me, it's definitely the movies. I love just everything about it, and there's just so much more variety. And to think that I could never see another Star Wars film in a movie theater or never go to another Marvel movie, although we do have a cinematic universe for hitting TV and stuff like that, it's not the same. It's just not the same. And even if I had a theater, even if I could go to the theater and watch TV shows, I would still pick movies over TV shows. Just because there's something about going to see an hour and a half, 2-hour film, going to see, a 3-hour, I don't know, what's his face that makes long movies all the time. Scorsese.
Everybody
there's something about going and seeing these films that are just beat TV shows for me. But I agree, it's a tough one. It's not that tough for me, but I love TV shows. So, it would be a terrible, terrible thing to have to choose. I'd have to go movies. I mean, come on? You guys never gonna watch another Star Wars movie?
I would take TV over that. I would take my 13-hour binge of something.
You're gonna watch 13 Ways to Commit Suicide over.
Oh, not that specific one. Most Netflix series are 13 episodes.
I know.
I could just watch.
Like a full marathon of Stranger Things versus a single Star Wars movie.
I could do that, or like.
But it's not a single Star Wars movie. You're getting a whole franchise. I mean, many movies for the rest of your life.
It just comes in spurts, and then it's like, all right, I got to wait another 20 years, 30 years before the next.
Not anymore.
Star Wars.
Not
movies.
Anymore. Star Wars comes out every 2 years.
Yeah,
and then there's a spin-off. So really, we're getting Star Wars every year. To think I could never go to the second Avatar in theaters, I mean, wow. And that's an experience that you just can't get at home. So it's a tough.
There's the so when I think about it, and I'll let Panic eventually get to his, at some point or other.
My answer
the way
already.
Right. Well, you could add more. The way I looked at it was, I have more TV shows, for example, that, and obviously I haven't seen as many movies as Jeff or somebody that's more of a movie guy. I mean, I've obviously watched my fair share of movies, but there are more TV shows that I watched and attached myself to, like an emotion to than a movie. Movies tend to be what Jeff is saying, an experience in a small, like, kind of encapsulated thing in this 2-hour to 3-hour window or whatever, and you get that experience. I just get so much more invested, in TV shows because it's a little bit longer running, and there are some movies where I attach a lot of emotion to, but the TV shows just seem to always get me way more.
I can't argue it because I agree with everything you're saying.
You're a robot, Adam.
Yeah. And it's also you just don't see that many movies, so you just if you saw as many movies as I did, I don't know, maybe you would even think even more strongly about.
I used to watch so many movies. I just don't do it anymore. Like I used to be just like back. Maybe it's because you can't really rent them anymore, and you got to go out of your way to friggin' either go to the theater or buy them or wait until they're on Netflix. I used to love renting movies.
And that's the thing, Adam. And I want you to think about that for a second because renting movies is very similar to going to the movie theater. Going to rent a movie was an event. It was an experience. How
Oh, no,
long
absolutely.
did
Oh,
you
yeah.
sit
Yeah,
in
yeah, yeah.
Blockbuster looking
And
at all
look
the
for a movie. Absolutely.
what are they called? The
VHS.
fucking
Trips to
VHSs.
Blockbuster.
There you go. That's how the VHS, you know, or the DVDs or even Blu-rays for a short period of time. Like going there, like I used to spend
Yeah,
an
sure.
hour and a half in that bitch.
You're looking for
and
one,
just
yeah.
looking for
God.
movies. You know, how many times have we gone over to
We got 15 minutes
Travis's
to pick
mom's
the movie.
place, where Travis's
they had
mom was
1,000
working,
movies.
where they had all those movies, and we would go there for like 2
Yeah, yeah.
hours and just look at movies because it was an experience. And I feel the same way about going to the movie theater. It's that experience. It's
Mhm.
not just the film; it's the leading up. That's the fun part.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm
All right.
down.
I am going to get to my question, and the reason why I'm picking this is because not only do I want to say my piece about it, and I'm sure you guys will too, but also like 3 people asked this question, so I'm kind of hitting
Okay.
2 birds with 1 stone here, or maybe even 3 birds with 1 stone. The first person to ask this question is Shad Dad, who's a $10 supporter, and then there was another one who is Duke, who is also a $10 supporter. And I do believe there's a third one in there somewhere. If you did ask, thank you, other third person. His question is, I'll just pick the first one here. How do you guys feel about spinners?
I'm pissed off about them
Panic
because
definitely has
I've
one.
actually
I know Panic.
No,
fucking owns
I've had
this
one for 3
motherfucker.
years now. I've had one for 3 years now. Like my fidget spinner is 3 years old and it sits on my desk at work. And I
Adam's
actually
gone.
use it for a legitimate purpose.
Adam's gone.
But
I
now
knew
it's
Panic.
become
I
like a
knew
stupid
Panic was
thing.
the type of guy that was going to own one of these motherfuckers. I knew it.
Dude,
He's
I
probably
have
got one
fidget
sitting right
toys.
beside him right now. He's probably got one sitting. there
I
spinning
don't
it.
have. I have a fidget cube, but I don't have it here. It's sitting on my
my
kitchen table.
Jesus.
The fidget cube I bought recently, but I've had a fidget spinner for about 3 years now, and it wasn't
use
even
it?
called a fidget spinner back then. I use it at work all the time, man. Like it's my conference call go to. Because the problem is on conference calls, like if I'm holding a pen, like I just start like literally just going back and forth with the pen. Like anything I have on my desk, I'll just start like going and fidgeting. Or if I don't have it, like my leg will start going. And like the problem with our desks at work is my leg is literally like an inch. So as I'm doing it, I'm hitting the table. And
Panic is
my
sounding
boss
like a
"You
guy
need
that
something."
loves marijuana, bro. He sounds like one of those marijuana dudes
Oh, no.
coming
Uh-oh.
out with
No,
every
I'm just-
motherfucking
I'm just
reason
saying,
why
so, like,
spinners are so
I just
awesome,
have one.
bro.
Oh, I'm
You
not
know,
saying they're awesome. I'm really
I'm
pissed off
poking
that it's like
fun
a
at you
huge
right
thing
now
that
because I
doesn't
can,
have
Panic. I'm poking fun at you
Yeah.
right now because I can.
Everyone's
Because
got them
I
now,
have
and I'm like,
heard-
now this
I
is not
have
legit.
legitimately heard every single goddamn excuse on why somebody wants a spinner. Oh, I fidget. Oh, I have ADHD. Oh, I can't
I don't have
fucking
that. I
think
don't have
straight.
that. Not that
Oh, my
far.
asshole bleeds. Oh, I have to go to the bathroom and piss 10 times a day, and this makes it so my bladder doesn't feel like it's gonna explode.
it
Oh,
doesn't
I
do that.
fucking. Oh, I watch Netflix all day and I just want to spin something. Oh my god, I've heard every excuse in a motherfucking book, and here's the reason why I'm hating on spinners. Because they're
pogs.
everywhere, and I fucking hate it. It's a gimmick. It's like it's Pokemon Go
They're
on crack right
pogs.
now.
They're
Dude,
pogs.
they're
the
everywhere.
snap bracelets.
And I think the worst part about it,
Tamagotchis.
what really pisses me off and why I see it so much, is I huss some retro video games, and I have to post stuff on the internet. And there are so many fuck boys and fuck girls out there that are going on some Chinese website and buying 500 of these fucking things that they
Oh my
paid 50
God.
cents on the piece for, and selling it for $10 to $15 a pop. And what makes me even more salty is that there's 200 people that are messaging saying, hold 6 of them for me. Yo, get one for my grandmother. Yeah, I'll grab one for you. Tagging their friends in the shit. I mean, listen, if you guys are
I
enjoying them
paid
and you're having
$6
fun
for mine
spinning,
3 years ago.
if
It
I
doesn't even
see a
look like the
single
normal fidget
person
spinners.
spinning one of those things around me, I'm smacking it out of their hand and I'm just walking away because they're just annoying to look at. And I wouldn't be such a hater if they weren't everywhere and shoved down I've seen
Oh my
spinners
God.
for everything. The only cool thing I've ever seen was the thing that Adam posted where someone had a picture of Sonic and they spin the thing and it looked like his feet were spinning around in circles really quickly. That's the only cool thing I've ever seen before. I digress. I think they're stupid.
Yeah.
And whoever came up with them is very rich. And hopefully
Probably
they got
not,
a patent on that.
Honestly,
They
I
better
doubt they just.
patent
That's
that thing.
guaranteed they didn't.
Oh my God! Can you imagine if you have a patent on that right now? You are so fucking rich.
Oh, you'd be filthy rich.
Oh,
But I
and
bet
it's
you.
such a
I bet
fad,
you.
dude.
I bet you
Oh,
it doesn't exist though. I don't even think you can patent it. I bet you they block you on it. You could get a patent on a very specific design of it, but I mean, it's not very hard to get around a patent for a spinner. So
It's literally a ball bearing. Like the one I have.
yeah, it's a fucking ball bearing. Yeah.
The
Can
one
we
I
get
have
custom
is pretty
spinners
much
made?
this one.
Can we get custom spinners made?
Of course we can.
If we hit the
I can get a spinner
$5,000
guy.
mark on motherfucking Patreon, can we get some limited edition technical office spinners? Can that happen?
Sure,
Because
why
that's the
not?
only
Look.
type of spinner that I would deem respectable.
Look, all right. This is like.
Adam, how do you
this
feel
is how
about
I've-
spinning?
This
Do
is
you
this is how. Oh yeah, I sit and spin all the time. People tell me it's a great experience. I should try it more often. No, the spinner thing, I agree, has gotten a little out of hand, and it's
too nuts.
They were honest to goodness. Spinners aren't the first thing that were invented for the purpose of people that have busy hands or their nervous energy, or they honest to God do have ADHD, even though it's one of the most overdiagnosed things on the face of the fucking planet.
Oh yeah.
Everybody says they have ADHD now. It's like, oh, I just got ADHD.
It's almost like it's cool. It's like, hey, you got ADHD?
Yeah, it's like,
I got ADHD. You got ADHD?
Yeah.
Oh,
We'll
okay, I can
share
stop moving.
We can share Adderall. So
I got ADHD, and I'm proud of it. It's almost like someone going, I'm missing a chromosome. You're missing a chromosome. Woo! We're all missing chromosomes.
It is a little silly. It is a little silly. But like, so they were obviously, there was other things, they a long time ago, they would have had easy their Trump. You're doing like the Trump shit.
The Trump shit is, you like spinners?
Coke. They used to be called do-nothings, and I have one. Yeah, they're called do-nothings, and I have one that Dad made me based on a design my grandfather, his dad made, where it's literally a block of wood that has just 4 channels in it and a kind of a gear in the middle and a handle, and it just pushes things out of the channels on all sides. It just spins, and it does nothing. That's the whole joke, is it just fucking does nothing. But it's just something to keep you busy. It's like people that whittled friggin' sticks to sitting down. They just needed to get and do something. So spinners are like just the friggin' new age version of that you can stick in your pocket. And now, again, to be fair, there are people that this, gets rid of their need to do things like bounce their knees or tap their foot or take a pen and constantly be doing, not everybody is trying to be an Asian and do like sick pen tricks in class because you're Asian, you can do it. But, some people honestly just feel the need to do that kind of stuff, the nervous energy. And so it's a legitimate thing.
I just have it in my hand.
Yeah, exactly. It's a legitimate way for people to to get that energy out of their system. But unfortunately now, like you said, it's gone absolutely everywhere, and people are starting to come up with 1,001 reasons for it. To have it, and it's whatever. You want to go and spend $15 on a freaking ball bearing? You go spend $15 on a ball bearing. I ain't got nothing on it, but
I was walking,
just like veganism and fucking like third wave feminism, and all that shit. I don't care to hear about it.
3 years ago for $6, and it was hilarious because I was walking in the mall today, and they actually opened like a fidget spinner kiosk, and I saw a kid literally twirling like 4 of them while we're eating lunch, and I look at it and I see my exact spinner on there, and I'm like, oh yeah, I bought that for $6. I asked how much it cost. Like, yeah, that'll be $25. I'm like,
do you want to know?
I'm like, that's the stupidest thing ever.
I can't even imagine, but I'm thinking the people that hate the spinners the most, anybody in the world, and I don't know because I haven't talked to any of these people, but I'm sure it is absolutely the worst thing since cell phones.
Teachers
being in school. Teachers, can you imagine the amount of fucking spinners
looking out of the classroom and everybody's fucking
the LED ones.
And then you've got these stupid little shit kids that are like, well, I need this because I have ADHD. or my mom said I
That'll be
can
really
use this,
annoying.
I'm biting my pen too much, or whatever. Can you imagine being a teacher right now, and how many spinners are in fucking a class? How many of them are dropping on the floor?
How many spinners do you think?
How many of them are just?
Do you think the teacher has in their desk drawer now?
I would. Oh my
How many
god! It
spinners-
could open up a shop.
instant.
It could open up a shop, a spinner shop, bro.
Now, thankfully, with cell phones, teachers are having a hard time getting the right to be able to take cell phones from students for the duration of the class, because parents go, well, I gave it to my kid in case there's an emergency. You can't take the cell phone off my kid in case you beat him with a fucking meter stick.
Yeah. Or somebody comes into school and tries to shoot it up or something, right? Parents are
exactly.
Like, crazy with stuff like that, right?
Yeah, exactly. So,
and rightfully so. I mean,
happen a lot.
rightfully so. Rightfully so.
I give a shit.
I know what you're
like,
saying.
Look,
I know what you're saying.
If I had kids, and my teacher said, "Hey, can I take your kid's cell phone?" I'd say one of two things. First of all, they don't have a cell phone, so don't worry about it. But if it did have a cell phone, or they had a cell phone, absolutely strip that off of them as soon as they enter the classroom. They don't need it.
You want to know what's fucked up, bro? And this is just a little thing I'm going to add on the end. My godson, who I do believe now is turning
like 2.
I think he's turning 2 in December. I want to say it's 2. This motherfucker. All right, listen to this. I went over to their place the other day just to visit. And, before he hated me, right? Is like he didn't see me very often. I see him a lot more. Obviously, I'm different colored than he is. And he goes to daycare and stuff, so there's like a couple of black kids that are there, so I think he's just getting used to, darker people. But now he loves me. Like, he loves coming here. He runs around. He loves my game room. I'm showing him all this stuff. I'm like, yeah, one day, I'm gonna give you all kinds of cool shit. And so I'm over their house, and he's on his iPad, right? And literally, he has a fucking iPad. All right. So not only is that stupid, but the kid has an iPad. And he's on YouTube, okay? And he's watching videos, and he's clicking on videos. But listen to this, Adam. And this is the reason why we ain't getting paid and all this other shit.
Okay.
This motherfucker puts on he never watches a full video. He'll start like a kid song. It'll be 20 seconds in, he'll click on another one. And when the video doesn't pop up, he spams the bottom right corner where you can skip the ad, and he waits the 4 seconds, and then he skips the ad on the 5th second so he can watch the video. This kid is already, I swear to God, he's already skipping ads, bro. They're already desensitized from skipping ads. The kid is not even 2 years old, and he's skipping it. He knows how to do it. I'm looking at it going, what the fuck? How? And every time he puts on a new video, he's tapping the fucking bottom right. And even if the video hasn't started, or there is no ad, he's still clicking it because he's waiting for it to skip. It's crazy, dude.
I'm like, guys, it's gonna be like 20 years from now.
Oh my God.
Jeff's gonna be like, I was gonna give you this entire shelf of games, but I remember when you were 2 years old, how you ripped me off of all of that ad revenue. You kept hitting the skip ad button. So now this shelf stays right here.
Like, it's crazy. It's crazy to think that a kid that young not only is on an iPad and using it, like fucking scrolling over and shit, like actually using an iPad, but is smart enough and sophisticated enough at that age to be skipping ads and knowing where they're going to pop up and how long they take to pop up. That is just bizarre. It's bizarre. And to see it firsthand, you're just going, what the fuck?
I know. I agree with Panic. Kids are on that shit way too early now. It's crazy.
Way too early. My kids
they're not developing developing critical thinking skills. They're not doing so many different things.
Yeah, they're gonna hate me, bro.
I'm sitting them down with a bucket of Legos.
Yeah.
Like not even like a set of Legos, like the bucket where it's just got random pieces and you just build random shit.
And what the problem is
like,
is a lot of parents just don't want to deal with their kids. So they give them this technology as a way of parenting, and I'm sure there's tons of people that are listening to like, dude, my fucking kids got iPads and shit, and we're perfectly happy. This isn't a shot at you at all. I mean, everybody raises their children however they want. This is not a shot. I mean, my godson is using iPads on the regular, and I don't go to his parents and be like, you shouldn't, that they're the parents and they're great parents, but it's crazy to me to fathom that my kid, even before like the age 5, would be using technology the way that some of these kids are using already. And it's not because, you know, you can make the argument that, I know this is a total tangent, but I know you can make the argument, that hey, you know, Jeff, the times have changed. You know, when this kid is going to be 20, you know, we're going to be, or the technology we use is going to be obsolete, and it's just a, you know, it's a progression. Like we were using like fucking Pog and all this other stuff. They're using iPads, and I get that. I'm not saying that you can't use technology, but as like a new parent, the first thing you're giving your kids are screens and headphones and all these things that are just going to melt their brain. It's scary. It's I don't know. Maybe I'm the only
in the world without technology.
Maybe I'm the only one that thinks that way. You know, I like to think of it both sides. I think it's great that kids are learning technology much earlier than we are, and I think that's a necessity. I mean, the whole world is changing in terms of jobs and probably even schooling, and everything is going to be all on a screen. It's what they're doing
with the technology.
Exactly.
It's the amount. Right now, a lot of these kids are just consuming media in various forms. They're not. I don't have anything against, you know, obviously technology is ubiquitous, and they're gonna have to use it throughout their entire life and more advanced forms than we're ever gonna be doing. We're gonna be the old guy not knowing how to reprogram the VCR. Like that shit's gonna eventually happen. So, you know, that's just kind of the way it is. So it's not the technology specifically, in my opinion. It's what they're doing with it. So it's the constant media consumption. They're already
and the amount of it.
If you're Yeah, exactly. If you're already getting bombarded with advertisements before you're 3 years old and you already know how to skip the damn thing, that's kind of fucked up, to be completely honest with you.
That's really messed up.
Yeah, and so if you're using technology in educational purposes, just like when we were kids, where we're putting fucking square blocks into round holes, and trying to do that shit. You know, if you're doing that, or if it's reading related, or even just anything like that, there's so many educational tools that are technologically driven. That's fine, whatever. But so many parents now are, and I'm not saying this is the case with your godson, obviously.
No, and he plays a lot of physical stuff. Like he has all those things. And this is just like, I'm just telling a funny little story. Like he's not on a fucking iPad all the time. He's usually playing with trucks and shit. But you know what I mean? Just to see that. Right.
Just to see it, yeah. But there's a lot of parents now. I mean, I think it's pretty universally known that not everybody should be a parent, and parents. You know, it might be questionable, in my opinion, that having children is a right. Might be a little questionable, but there's some people out there.
That's a whole other topic for another podcast.
They have kids, and they get infatuated with the idea of having children, and they love the idea of having children, and then they have children, and they went, oh fuck, wait, we just like that the other people that we know have children, and we like seeing them for like 2 hours at a time, and then not seeing the other 22 hours of the day that some parents feel like is actually more like 26 hours because of the length of time their children are constantly keeping them up and they have to do things for. They sit them in front of these things and just walk away. They're like, oh, what's that? You're having a little whiny moment? Here's your iPad. Turn on like a TV show or a game and walk away, and then go watch their own Netflix shows on TV. Like that's a lot of parents. That is literally what parenting is. It's put the screen in front of the kid, let the screen do all the work, walk the fuck away, and go and do your other, live your life type shit.
Shut the baby up with technology.
Just anything to do, just fucking shut them up.
I 100% agree with you. I think it's phenomenal that kids, even as young as my godson, that knows how to use iPads, and the fact that he's watching, like the content he was watching was like educational stuff, like little kitty singing along songs, and it's all educational. It's great, but I think that in moderation, even if you're doing those sort of things, I think having a time, like say, you don't have to be super strict and be like, you only get 1 hour iPad, but I'm saying if that is your main source, it's scary. And just what really stemmed that is seeing him skip those ads the way that I would skip an ad, and just going, I don't want to, get me out of here. Seeing a kid that can't even talk right, like do that, you're going, whoa, shit. Not only is that kind of creepy to think of, and it's just a reality, but on top of that, how bad do we feel for the advertisers that now got to figure out a way that when this kid is like 15, how are you going to market to this kid? It is going to be so desensitized in every way, shape, or form. The type of marketing that's going to have to happen 15 years from now is going to have to be so much more direct that it almost like it shit have to show up at your front door for you to pay attention to it.
Yeah,
Probably talk about advertising as a topic as well, and for a full podcast for how creepy.
Yeah, I imagine. Yeah. But
anyway,
yeah, just with I was one other thing to add to that. You mentioned the kids that are like that now, and even some of the generation that we've got that are now hitting their teens and stuff as we speak. Socially, these kids are a mess. Like a legitimate mess.
Oh yeah.
It was a problem when television became a thing, where there's always been something that tied up a small section of that age group, the developmental years in elementary school and junior high into high school. Where people would find a way to avoid social gatherings if they were not that type of person. But now it's like everybody is doing it because it's just all media stuff and it's all in front of them all the time, and interaction is like impossible. And so like when I did the summer camps, even I saw this with our youth leaders that were between the ages of 13 and 16, and they trying to have just a fucking conversation, simple. Look, they had to look at you for more than 2 seconds at a time. It was all, for most of them, not all of them, because there's some people too that are still adjusted individuals. Yeah. But the majority would not be able to look you in the eye and have a conversation with you for more than 3 minutes at a time before they were getting real antsy and they didn't know how to, sit or react or anything. And this was just a casual environment. This was like at an event that we would throw on for the youth leaders.
Yep.
It was nuts.
It's happened in interviews that I've had with like professional people who are, somewhat younger on the professional spectrum, where they can't focus on a question I've asked for more than a minute or two before they start like digressing or getting confused.
And it doesn't make them stupid. A lot of those people are actually very intelligent, but they're so
extremely
focused.
High functioning.
They're
extremely high functioning, but they just can't. They can't sit down and do critical thinking.
Exactly, and they're like highly intelligent in certain areas, and they're unstoppable. Yep. But the moment you put them in a social situation, it's just like they don't know what to do because the majority of their life was spent in front of a computer screen. It's almost like when somebody calls your cell phone, you're going, "What, dude? Why the fuck are you calling me? Like, why didn't you just text me?" It's like that's the world we live in.
It's kind of like having a dog. You have to socialize a dog so that it can play well with others, but we haven't been socializing humans.
Yep.
So they don't play well with others.
Yep. And I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, I go to conventions, like nerd conventions, and it's that everywhere. And that's cool because I'm a nerd myself. It just, I'm outspoken and I entertain and talk for a living. So for me, it's nothing. But I meet a lot of fans that they come and meet me and they almost don't know what to say or to do. It can be awkward and that's fine. And then, hey, that doesn't bug me at all for me, but I can tell that they're just so uncomfortable and I will just want them to be comfortable around me. I'm like, dude, like, I'm like you, I'm just super chill. Like, it is what it is. But when you go to these conventions and things, it's mainly because all of us that are there, we're all nerds and we all spend time in front of the computer. And the majority of the socializing that we do is through knowing somebody by username. And I'm even the same way. Like I find myself in situations where I'm talking to people in person and it doesn't feel as natural as being able to talk behind a keyboard because I can do pretty much everything I want to get off my chest through text, and it isn't as awkward. I don't have to see an auto reaction. I don't have to give an answer right away. If somebody asks me something direct and I'm uncomfortable or I have to think about it, if I'm just sitting there and I'm thinking about it, it's awkward, and they know that I'm thinking about it. If they hit me up on Facebook or something and I need time or whatever, they can't see that. Maybe they can sense it, like, oh, this motherfucker just stopped talking to me for 5 minutes. What the hell? But it's that sort of thing, right? And yeah, it's It's scary, man. It's scary, but
I've actually
it's
gone
light.
the opposite way. Like I'm like trying like, and again, you guys call me panic all the time. I'm actually like trying to migrate it so that people are going back to like calling me Tabin because it gets confusing. 'Cause
Yeah.
There's a period of time where more people in my life would call me panic
Yeah.
than would call me Tabin.
Yep.
And it got very confusing. I'm just like, it's really awkward at times.
Yep.
I was at one of my jobs, and a guy literally yelled out, "Oh shit, you're panic switched" across the floor. And this is in my professional day job, like sitting at a desk on an open floor. And I'm just like, oh yeah, no, I got to do something about this. Like this won't fly.
Oh, absolutely. No, I think there's an oft used argument for this is every generation thinks the generation that's coming after it is fucked.
I know. Yeah.
Get off my
Right?
lawn.
That's so
You
true.
you get old and you're like, oh no, the young kids are fucked up.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I don't think any of us are saying that the next generation is going to completely be unable to do anything in life.
Oh, they'll
But
be smarter
here's
than us
mine.
by far.
Well, that's
It's
just
debatable.
what happens. Everything. Well, no, I
agree,
think it will
though.
happen.
Yeah,
but
I
only-
agree.
They'll be smarter,
it's-
but they won't be wiser.
I agree.
they'll be smarter, but it will be in more hyper-specific things. General knowledge is going to become less and less common because everybody's hit with so much information on a daily basis. The amount of information that you have to cram into your head, waking moment to waking moment. We're already seeing it be a problem with kids right now, where the amount of education they're getting in school right now it has to be accelerated so much. To the point where kids are just having a hard time literally being able to keep up with curriculum.
It becomes selective, right? People just kind of latch on to what
It's
what it is.
information overload.
They're just like, oh, I'm listening to absolutely nothing but this one thing.
Yeah. Which means eventually school is likely in some weird perfect world you're going to earlier on in life go down a path and say I like this, I'm going to go this way because there's going to be so much information for the general curriculum.
It'll be like the Hunger Games, right? Where they give you a district. You're going to be a farmer. You're going to be a tech guy.
There's so much to know, right? So, but here's my argument for the whole, every generation's fuck whatever. We're talking about this whole technology and getting it in kids' hands too early, and people can't have social interactions anymore. Here's the thing. It doesn't matter if it's this year or 1950 or 2050. At the end of the day, you are always going to have social interaction with people, period. And most of what you're going to be successful at in life is going to be because of social interaction, and it won't be through an email or a text or whatever other weird form of communication happens in the next 50 years.
Yeah.
And so there is always going to be a need to be adjusted enough to be able to hold yourself in a social setting with other people. It's not like the world's getting any fucking bigger, right? That we just keep popping babies out left, right, and center. There's less and less room everywhere. Canada's pretty lucky because there's a lot of space for a lot of people. But if you go everywhere else, you are shoulder to shoulder with damn near 56 other people at all times. Panic would know this back home where his parents would originally come in from. At this point, Bangladesh, right? I'm not crazy when I say that, right? There's a pretty high proportion of people in Bangladesh. It's not exactly one person per square. What?
One of the funny thing, I'm gonna say this because it's probably Jeff is gonna laugh at this, but I actually had at my grandfather's house. He had a bunch of people working for him, and they asked me when I was visiting, because again, they don't like Bangladesh is very homogenous, and they were just like, so on TV we see people with like different color eyes and hair, right? Like, is that really, does that really happen? Like, is there like red hair? And like, I stopped, and I was just like, that is such a strange. And then I realized, I'm like, no, seriously. Everyone in Bangladesh is like brown-eyed, black-haired. Like there's really no other hair colors. Like everyone
Unless
looks
you're like an albino and you're just like walking amongst a crowd.
And it's like different color skin tones. So like you see some like through the missionaries and stuff, but like one of them actually asked me, and I was just like, wow, like it was like a complete mindfuck at the time. It's like,
but it's reaching everywhere, right?
I'm like, I can't blame him for asking that.
Yeah, no, you can't. That's just the way it is in a lot of places in the world still. So, but regardless, and people might argue that at some point, the odds that humanity's going to blow itself off the face of the planet before human interaction is going to be completely nullified, because unless some weird science fiction thing happens where the entire population gets reduced from some massive plague, or we just literally blow ourselves up and then all of a sudden there's only one person, per square kilometer, then yeah, you're going to bump shoulder to shoulder with people. You're going to have to interact with people, and it's just, that's just fucking life.
Yep.
It's the way it is. And maybe, maybe somebody's gonna say, like I said, that's not gonna happen. But even in far-flung futures, the odds of that not being the case.
Let's go to Mars, boys.
Not great.
Well,
not great. Think about, sorry, Jeff, but think about what Panic just said. Let's say that we do get to a point where we're off-worlding somewhere else. You might not have to do it here on Earth, but you bet your fucking ass if we send you and 1,000 or 2,000 other people to go populate another friggin' place, you're gonna be getting real fucking cozy with those other 999 people. So
just send Twitch streamers.
Oh yeah, that'd be great. Well, I put us on a tangent there. I'm sorry, guys. I just thought the whole skipping of the ad thing was just super cool.
No, it's whatever. It gave us something else to talk about. It was fun to talk about that. But yeah, so ladies and gentlemen, that's been another podcast. I think this has been shorter than the last few, so that's good despite the fact we're still over. I think we've done relatively well for ourselves. Hopefully you enjoyed that one, and we look forward to coming back next week. Once again, guys, our stuff is here. We have our pins, we have our stickers, we are going to have the posters coming up. And so we're starting to get to the point where you guys are going to be receiving much of the stuff that you originally and continue to sign up for. So you're going to be getting all of that great stuff. Panic will have pictures that we'll be able to get up on the Patreon page, so you'll be able to see the physical deliverables that you'll get at each of these tiers. And
update your Patreon addresses.
Yes, and make sure that if you haven't already, update your Patreon addresses so that we can actually send you this stuff.
I'm going to start packing this stuff up over the next week or two, so they're going out.
Absolutely. So make sure that happens. And once again, also, thank you for everybody hitting us up on iTunes with those reviews. It is currently the best way to get us out there and give us a better shot at getting some exposure. And any closing thoughts, gentlemen? Any closing tidbits?
No, just want to thank everybody for all the support and keep it coming. Get that swag, and we're getting closer and closer to our first big stretch goal. I know we had a couple of $100 spots open up, and then somebody grabbed a $100 spot. So we're kind of balancing out a little bit. We're gonna have to come up with a nice little DLC to get us that push. But
get us to that 5,000. We hit that mark.
Yeah. And then I don't know what that unlocks, but I think that just unlocks more.
It unlocks
more of the extra technical
alpha stuff. Or tech support, technical alpha, tech support stuff. Yeah, it's where we sit down and we answer more of these questions separate to the podcast and make those separate content download things for YouTube and the RSS
iTunes.
Feeds.
Yeah. So that's pretty much it. Just once again, thank everybody. The podcast is a lot of fun, and we're fortunate. We're doing
one of the
few
things I look forward to.
Yeah, me too. I really look forward to Fridays, and like now that when I take a Friday off, I don't feel bad about it because I'm still kind of working in a way, but also having fun and working on a new venture. Hopefully, will be long term. But it's fun, man. It's a good time, and we appreciate all the questions that come in. And more retro verses will be happening, and shout outs to all the people that are watching that. We're actually getting quite a few. I don't know how many Patreons we have in total, but a lot of them are watching the verses, and people are really enjoying that. So Adam and I are gonna be playing some more. We'll probably get together next week because we need to record a couple. And,
it'll be next week sometime.
Yeah, and we'll get some more of that out. And then of course when Panic comes here next month, we'll do like a three-way thing.
Yeah, that's gonna be exciting.
That's all I had. That's all I'd add, and I just want to say that Beastol's got a big dick.
He does indeed, and we're about to find out as we head on over to the Patreon producers. This list will get updated next week for the next month rollout of Patreon supporters. But for now, the list is Beastall still reigning supreme at the top at $1,000.
Oh my goodness.
Producer.
What a god, man. What a
It's
owner.
unbelievable.
He's an
owner. He's a part
owns
owner
us.
at this point.
owns us.
Mr.
for
Miyagi, not a
yourself.
slouch, at $250.
Nope.
Thank you, Mr. Miyagi. And
The wax
also,
is still on.
it is. He hasn't waxed off yet. He's still waxing on. There's a lot of wax, but he can afford it apparently. So we'll eventually get to the wax off part, but we don't know when. It's a long way away. Also, huge thank you to our $100 pledge tiers. I almost said donations because I'm used to streaming. Postal Panda, Draco, Adam B, Toad of Steel, Naily, J.A., Derek P, Jonathan A, Fricy, and Ice Wolfie. Thank all of you gentlemen. I think we've had some people drop out and some new people pick up $100 spots in the last couple of days specifically. So next week this list will be updated for all the changes. And that's going to be it for this week of Technical Alpha. Hope you guys enjoyed yourself as always. And head on over to technicalalpha.audio if you haven't already, if you're listening to this on iTunes, and check out all the magic also at patreon.com/technicalalpha, where you can see, if you haven't already, when you sign up, all this swag. And we'll see you guys next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. See you later, guys.
Did you just do that?
I did. That happened.
God
Totally
damn
happened.
it.
Jesus.
Nice things, Adam. This is why we don't have it.